Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV. Welcome to the darkness, or welcome to Twin Ring Motegi, the East layout for tonight's rounds 14 and 15 of the PenPower Euro V8 Supercars Championship. We are well into the thick of the season now, and as usual, we will see a sprint race of 30 minutes in length, and then a feature race as well, with a pit stop included as well. Adam Bath here in the comms box with you tonight, filling in for Andrew Woodhouse, and alongside me it is Sam Kumo. And Sam, it's night time, and the track's going to be pretty cold, and these very powerful V8 supercars, the Ford and the Holden, are going to have to negotiate the 3.4 kilometer circuit tonight.
Yeah, good evening everyone, and it will be a challenge. There is usually people refer to this as Japanese tarmac. It feels very different from the usual tracks that we run on. It's very smooth and it can be very slippery, especially with these high-powered supercar V8s.
Just looking at the temperatures, yeah, even though it is the night time here in Japan, the air temperature is 24 degrees and the track temperature is 24 degrees as well. We can get colder than that. I wonder if we'll see that either in race 1 or in race 2. Now the Super Bowl is just going on at the moment, or about to get underway I should say, a 10-minute session for the top 10 quickest drivers to set their times. That should be getting underway in about just under 2 minutes time, but while they sit at the end of the pit lane and get ready to go, running through the championship standings, and it is Rafał Kucharczyk who's leading the way. He took the lead back in the championship after the events last week at Bathurst. Tony Klosterman, driving for Never Quit Racing, drops down a position. He's only 6 points behind, so those two will definitely be keeping an eye on each other across the two races today. Daniel Tomczyk in third, with Dave Janssen in fourth, and then fifth is Samuel Buzyn, with Peter Bingham in sixth. Seventh, Jose Borges. Eighth is Samuel Roth. Ninth is Jean-Philippe Boussalat, and then 10th is Richard Brightwell, getting a position inside the top 10 ahead of his teammate Clyde Whiting, who sits in 11th. In terms of the team standings, Never Quit Racing A lead the way ahead of Dilligaff Racing in second. The Squales Racing Team in third, with GTL VRT Red in fourth. Slingshot Sim Racing in fifth. Sassing Motorsport in sixth. GTL VRT Silver, the backup team there in seventh, being able to get a position after last week's race at Bathurst ahead of Fusion Racing in eighth. SDC Motorsports ninth, and the Apex Racing Academy team rounding out the top 10. And Tony Klosterman leads the pros ahead of Richard Brightwell who's the leader of the AMS. And the safest driver award currently is being held by Marcin Gadzinski, and that is for the drivers that have competed in a minimum of 5 races to appear on the leaderboard, and is calculated on the incidents per corner. And Sam, Bathurst last week, we were talking just before we went on air today, it was pretty eventful. The drivers struggling with some parts of the track in that race meeting.
Yeah, I mean the Bathurst is always eventful, and this time around the walls were not spared. There were plenty of contacts, but it was also a good racing. I think me and Andrew, for us, the interesting thing that we noticed was that when we got to the pit stops, and when the guys were exiting the pits at the with the cold tires, there was this small hump. As you exit the pits, there's a long straight, small hump, and every time drivers were entering it, the car got loose, and many drivers were struggling to keep their car under the control over that hump. So that was interesting to spectate and watch and see when the drivers caught onto it and started using different lines.
Race victories there for Alan Rojic and Tony Klosterman in those race meetings, and the Super Bowl session's just underway now, and the drivers really struggling for grip, it looks like, emerging from the pits. Janssen and Klaus Winter both making small mistakes there, but this is just the outlap. They're just heading into the S's section now, and then they'll be able to get their flying laps underway in a relatively short lap around here. The time's 1 minute 20 in practice. Fastest man in practice was Tony Klosterman, the man who won race 2 at Bathurst. Currently qualifies on pole position after the open session that we've just had, and it's ahead by quite a little bit, Sam, over half a second ahead of Chris Jackson in second.
Yeah, on this track, just getting the line slightly wrong, it can really cost you at the midsection, and this is the sort of layout, so we don't have those 2 long straights. So it will be interesting to see how the drivers adapt to this one. As we see, Klusterman, he doesn't quite have the position he might have wanted for the qualify, as he is right behind traffic.
Yeah, I
So
think
let's
he's
see
pretty
how
much
they get on.
he's pretty much the last car on the circuit. Then going into the first corner, probably one of the main overtaking spots on the circuit, despite it being a pretty quick entry. Now we head into this pretty much slip road that separates the east circuit from the main circuit, and then for this quick S section where it's really just single file through there. You can't go too wide at all. It's on the circuit, Sam.
Yeah, let's go on board with Klusterman and see this mid-section of the track. And under the hill here, and this next bit, this is very twisty. There's usually, this is not the ideal overtaking place. There's only one line through here, but you can really aggressively attack these curbs. And if you get a good run here, this can help you set up an overtake for this V corner that opens up. And now towards the final corner of this layout, which is the hairpin.
Into turn 11, pit lane on the inside, and the time's starting to come through. Just trying to see if we've got any improvements. We'll see if Tony Klusterman's able to improve on his first flying lap. There's still 6 minutes to go in the session. Rafael Kucharczyk goes up into second place. Tony Klusterman comes across the line and does a 20.6. That is 7/10 of a second or so slower than his personal best in the session. But Rafael Kucharczyk, Sam, he's keeping his championship rival in sight. He may be leading the championship, but he's currently second on the grid at the moment.
Yeah, currently we've seen that the championship is between these two guys, Klusterman and Kucharczyk. Only 6 points separating them, and Kucharczyk makes a mistake and has to abandon this lap.
BTL red car, just seeing what happened to him. Oh, he had to get out of it. Jose Borges, I don't think wasn't going slowly, but possibly might have just impeded a little bit Kucharczyk, and yeah, he had to take evasive action now, and he will regroup and get going again. He's still got enough time to put a few more laps in. We've just got under 6 minutes left on the clock, and racing at Motegi today. Next time in a few weeks, in the second week in May, I think we go to Sonoma and then Road America to, I think, end the season. We just have one race there as well. It's an endurance race in 2 hours in length, and racing around the Elkhart Lake Circuit. That should definitely be something to watch. That'll be on the 20th of May on Apex Racing TV to bring the curtain down on what's been a pretty good season.
Yep, and we already had one endurance race earlier at Spa, and even if you might not expect the endurance race to bring great racing, but that was still very action-packed, and there was really no the usual lull or slow section that you might expect in the endurance races.
I think any sort of racing around Spa's bound to provide a whole lot of excitement there. We'll see what we get at Motegi. The BSRTC Pro Series was here during the week, of course. You were off racing the Porsches at Donington. And that was all right, actually. You made some steady progress through the field. I know race 1 was a bit disappointing because you made a mistake, I think, in the first lap, and that set you back a little bit.
I made a mistake on both races. On lap 1, got the slowdown penalty, and just didn't have enough practice. It was also a bit weird because I was under the impression that we would be at the same track with the gear guys. So we'll see what happens next week and where we are.
Yeah, wait and see. Yeah, the BSRTC race night running on Thursdays. Well, the key is anyway, we're racing here in Japan. As always, Kucharczyk nearly loses it on the exit of the final corner, and just in front of him, he's got the man who's second in the championship, Tony Klusterman. He's 6 points behind these guys, and they're going to be sharing a lot of real estate on this track today. You can expect that. We're running through the top 10 then in the session at the moment, as we've got just under 4 minutes to go. Tony Klusterman still hasn't improved on his time from earlier on in the session. Oh, and Kucharczyk's going to get impeded by pretty much the same guy, and Borges decides to take the scenic route through the gravel there. Kucharczyk in second, third Chris Jackson, fourth Klaus Finter, fifth is Steven Lattimore, the Australian-New Zealand driver, and it's Jean-Philippe Boussanin, the DAPS driver, in sixth. absolutely numbered 666. Kim Holter in 7th, 8th Dan Lenson, 9th Jose Borges, the driver we saw just going off there, and 10th is Dave Janssen, who isn't on the track at the moment. Like he might be settling for that 10th position for now. He has got just a bit of time to get back on the track if he wants to, but at the moment that is the top 10 as we're starting to enter the closing stages of this qualifying session.
And you mentioned Stephen Latimer there. I believe this might be his first outing here in the European V8 Supercars series. At least I don't remember seeing him before.
Ooh. And yeah, Latimer goes off. Well, he's all in black, and it's going to be hard for him to spot, especially in these nighttime conditions. This track isn't very well lit, and the V8 Supercar drivers, that's going to be one thing that they'll have to get used to, racing with the headlights rather than racing in the daylight.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of track lighting on this layout. I believe this might be even darker than, let's say, Spa or Sebring, which are very well lit. So, let's see how the drivers adapt here.
Have you done much night racing recently at all on iRacing?
Mainly just when there's a night race in the schedule. I've been running the Porsche, and so far every track has been at the daytime. And even the 24-hour race, at least for this year, was still at the daytime conditions.
I have to say, I think every single night race I've done, it's always been at a track that's been floodlit, whether that's the MX-5 Rookie Cup at the Charlotte Road circuit, or I think I did a Blancpain Sprint Series. Oh no, it was an IMSA Sports Car Series race at Daytona Road a few seasons ago as well, and that track was heavily lit as well. So with tracks like that, it really doesn't affect the drivers too much. But yeah, racing around circuits like this, where the majority of the circuit isn't very well lit at all, or circuits like Sam was talking about, like Spa or Sebring, then the drivers will have to get used to that. And also, if they get too much damage to the front of their car, that can damage their lighting as well, and reduce their visibility even further. We've only got 3 cars left on the track, and they are our top 3. Tony Klusterman, who's lost it on the exit of the corner, hits the Anchor barrier, and that's his qualifying done. Jarzik, now he's on his way to what is, as I get the track map up, that is turn 6. He turns that in now, and what should be his final run, so.
Yeah, this is his final opportunity to improve his lap time. And I believe the same is for Chris Jackson, who's grounded 3rd.
Into the S's section. This is turn 8 and turn 9, and then to V corner, as someone's talking about there, and probably another overtaking opportunity. You can really, through these final 2 corners, you can really catch the driver in front by surprise if you time the move well. And Rafał Kucharczyk, the championship leader, driving in the Holden, is going into the pits, so he's not going to be improving on his time at all. That leaves Chris Jackson to improve, and he's just crossed the line with 5 seconds to spare, so we will wait to see what he does into the first corner. And since he's the only car on track, Sam, we might as well just go on board with him for this final lap.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see how he gets on.
Through turns 3, 4 and 5, that's where his teammate went off just there on the exit. That was what met the demise for Tony Klusterman in this qualifying session. Now hard on the brakes. I think he's struggling on the braking there into turn 6, and I think this might not be a quick lap at all. No, it isn't, so he's going to pull over. And that is the end of the qualifying session. So for this first 30-minute race of the day, round 14 of the PenPower European V8 Supercars Championship, the grid is like this. On pole position, it's the Canadian Tony Klusterman. Second is Rafał Kucharczyk, the top 2 in the championship, starting 1 and 2 on the grid. In reverse order though. Don't forget that Kucharczyk is the championship leader by just 6 points. Chris Jackson in 3rd, making it a Canadian on the 1st and 2nd row of the grid. Then Klaus Finter in 2nd. 5th is Stephen Latimer. 6th is Jean-Philippe Rousselin, with Kim Holter in 7th. 8th is Dan Lenson. 9th is Jose Borges, and 10th is Dave Janssen. 11th for Daniel Tomczyk. 12th for Ronald Moons. 13th for Clyde Whiting. 14th for Peter Bingham. Anthony Woodward in 15th place, with David Zitterbart in 16th. 17th is Richard Brightwell. 18th Bill Svitzer. 19th is Robert Lundgren. And then 20th is Benjamin Rasinga, with 21st John Manley. 22nd Arnolf Kohler. 23rd is Martin Brandon. And starting at the back in 24th, a familiar face, familiar name I should say, for the SRTC viewers of a few seasons ago. It's Simon Field. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The end of the session just approaching now, and then we'll get down to the grid for this sprint race in the PenPower European V8 Supercars Championship.
Yeah, on our screen the back end of the field was looking a little bit different with John Manley at the back, but I think that's because the last few guys did not set the lap time. So we'll see what the real grid is. Yeah,
the last few positions have changed around just a little bit. If you don't set a time on iRacing, you're placed in a position of your iRating. So Simon Field is starting 21st instead of last. John Manley in 22nd, Arnulf Kohler in 23rd, and Martin Brandon will be starting in 24th because he has got the lowest iRating, which is 883. And yeah, not too many drivers you see in any of the series we cover on Apex Racing TV with iRating that low, but let's see what happens in this first race, as the drivers will be soon heading down to the grid and getting this first race underway.
Yeah, still waiting for Klusterman and Kuchelczyk.
Interestingly, we're starting on a part of the, because we're on the East Circuit, we're starting on a part of the track not very well lit, which is something you don't usually see. Usually the start lines are the most well lit part of the circuit. But I think really, Sam, to pick between Tony Klusterman and Rafał Kucharczyk is just going to be a flip of the coin. Any one of those two is probably going to get the win in this first race.
Yeah, here Kucharczyk has the preferred line. He is inside line, and if he can maintain it, it's going to be inside line for the next two corners. If he just can get a good start and get alongside Klusterman.
Well then, Tony Klusterman takes his spot on pole position, the blue and bright green Holden. Second is the red and white car of Rafał Kucharczyk, the top two in the championship. Tony Klusterman needs to try and take the championship lead back after losing it last week at Mount Panorama Bathurst. What is going to happen in this first race of the day? Here we go, the clock has reached 0, and now the revs will begin to rise and the drivers will look to the lights as we get race 1 of the day underway. And the green light's on, and it's a terrible start from Kucharczyk. That allows Klusterman's teammate Chris Jackson into second, and Kucharczyk is already down to 5th position, and it's 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide as we head down the hill for the first time into turn 1. Who's out of the inside? Car 31, Dunn Lenson, who's had a very good start. Stephen Lattimore also up the order, and now we're heading into the very narrow part of the circuit, which makes this Twin Rim Motegi the E circuit. Lenson contact with Kim Holter. Thankfully he's just able to hold it, but that allows Kucharczyk up a few more positions. He's still trying to wrestle with the car, and this is the cold tyres really coming into effect here, Sam, as we head towards turn 6.
Yeah, Kim Holter really struggling. Some bad damage to his car already, and everyone is punching up behind him.
Lenson about to get passed by Jean-Philippe Bousselin possibly, however he gets a bad run out of this out of turn 6 as well. Now up through the hill, we've just gone onto the outfield part of the circuit, and it's the start that Tony Klusterman will have been dreaming about really. Sammy's got his teammate now in 2nd place, Chris Jackson, and his championship rival Rafał Kucharczyk all the way down in 6th place. Yeah,
2.2 second lead already. He can kind of relax, find his pace, find his lines, and not really worry about anyone behind him.
2.2 second lead already, and Stephen Lattimore, it is his first race meeting in the PenPower European V8 Supercars Championship, and he's making good use of it so far. Up to 3rd position, 2 positions gained. Peter Bingham into the pits at the end of the first lap, possible damage for him, and Lattimore having a little look at the inside of Chris Jackson into that first corner as we start lap 2.
Yeah, not quite close enough this time, but maybe through here going into turn 6, if he can set up a good run out of this corner.
See what he can do then. On our way out of turn 5. Oh, wrestling with the car again. Those tyres just not up to temperature just yet either after that opening lap. And that's just setting back a few tenths of a second. And that's something that you see in these V8 supercar races, Sam. You can gain a lot of time in these cars, but you can also lose a huge amount as well.
Yeah, these cars are very special in the iRacing, that nothing else drives like this. I believe they use these cars to test for the new tire models, and these usually have the most advanced models they have because of the way they handle and behave.
I'll agree to that. Yeah, I've driven the V8 Supercars on 1 or 2 occasions, and yeah, definitely no other car in the iRacing service handles like this. Top 10 at the end of the first lap. Then Tony Klusterman, I should say, has a 2.3 second lead. He looks set to take the championship lead back as it stands at the moment. Chris Jackson in second, third Stephen Lattimore, fourth is Klaus Winter with Rafał Kajarczyk, the championship leader going into this race meeting in fifth place. He's just got Klaus Winter not too far in front of him, and a comeback could be on from him in the next few laps. Dave Janssen in 6th, 7th is Dan Lenson, 8th is Jean-Philippe Boussalan, 9th is Daniel Tomsik, and running at the top 10 is Jose Borges.
Yeah, and once again Lattimore looking for a pass, but he didn't quite get a run here, but Kuchelzik has a run. Take the outside line into turn 6.
On the outside,
like, yeah, Winter just let him by.
Obviously, Klaus Winter will know that Rafał Kajarczyk is a man on a mission, wants to get those positions back after what was a really poor start. You wouldn't have expected that from him. But yeah, Kajarczyk down to 4th place now. Up to 4th place, I should say.
Yeah, not really sure what happened there at the start with Kajarczyk. Maybe he didn't have the car in gear or something like that, because he was really not moving at all. So it was not about wheel spin or anything like that.
Let's have a look further down the field, see what we've got any close battles going on there. There is a position change. David Zitterpart's just got past Simon Field. That is an overtake for 15th place. All going on down the field, and of course, unlike the BSRTC, race 2 is done by a separate qualifying session, so no reverse grids here. So these drivers in the midfield, they'll be going for every position they can, because they know that they won't be having a reverse grid to aid them in the second race.
Yeah, it's full pace all the time, and I think that somewhat calms the race down, and we are not usually seeing as hectic second races as we see in maybe the PSR races, but still we got plenty of good action here. And here we have one thing for position 9 between Tomsik and Borges, half a second between them, but they've been really close for the past 2 laps.
Proper V8 supercar battle going on here. Ford versus Holden. Would like to see the Mercedes or the Nissan Altima, or maybe even the Volvo on iRacing in the not too distant future. But yeah, Ford versus Holden, the main battle in the V8 Supercar Championship. It splits families. It's a huge rivalry, and at the moment we've got one going on the track here between Daniel Tomsik from Central Eastern Europe and Jose Borges, the Iberian driver. And up for grabs here is a spot inside the top 9, and we'll see what the lap times are like between these guys coming out the final corner. Daniel Tomsik aptly driving a the green and black Ford, quite similar to the Bottolo racing car that's driven in the V8 Supercars Championship. Over the timeline they go. What lap times are they doing? 22.4 for Tomsik, and a 22.4 as well for Jose Borges. Only a few hundredths separating these two. And going into the first corner to start lap 5. This 30-minute race, they are pretty much inseparable here at the moment. And what's Jean-Philippe Boussalan doing in front of them? He was slow on that last lap, and these two might start bearing down on him if he continues to go at that pace.
Yeah, looks like the passing is not that easy here, and so far it seems like turn 6 has been the favorite place to make moves. Oh, and what if Rosinga has had an issue towards the back of the field.
Ben Rosinga. Car 083, yeah, lost it into the first corner, and seems to be a thing that some of the drivers has during qualifying as well, and it's happening in the race too.
Yeah, it's a very challenging braking zone because it's downhill, so the back end tends to get light, and if you are running too much rear brake bias, it's easy to get the rear lockup and spin the car around.
Almost possible problem for Kohler as well. Yeah, he's off in the S's section, halfway around, 2/3 of the way around the lap. He was chasing the Apex Academy car, Robert Lundgren, but he too loses the rear, and who was that just missed him? It was Bill Svitzer. So yeah, problem for Arnolf Kohler. He's got going again in 20th place. And yeah, the downhill braking is something that you see similar in NASCAR when they're racing at Watkins Glen. That wheel chatter at the back, and if you lock the rears, that's what can happen. And then really you're just a passenger, and you're going into that first corner. You've already entered Ben Risinger.
Yeah, and on this track especially, because the braking zones are fairly smooth, so you can get very effective braking, but setting the brake bias, you need to say almost like too much forward if you don't want to keep changing it all the time and every time you enter that turn 1.
Well, Jean-Philippe Bousselin is starting to get pretty close under attack from Daniel Tomsic and Jose Borges. Last time around he was almost a second slower than Tomsic behind, and looks like the Ford starting to struggle here and coming under a bit of pressure. And that's not really what you need, Sam, especially in these V8 supercars. If you start getting under pressure, these cars don't like to be driven erratically, and if you do that too much, then you'll find yourself spinning out of the race.
No, this is one of those cars that you cannot drive nervously. You need to just stay calm. And I'm kind of surprised that seeing Bousselin not really maintain the pace, because from what I can remember, he has had a pretty good pace all throughout the season. So I'm not sure if this is just one of those tracks that he's not comfortable with, or something else. Maybe the car is not quite the way he likes it. But yeah, he's currently under attack by Tomsic.
Well, Bousselin finished in 9th position in practice, 6th in qualifying, but now currently 8th in the race, and has been able to pull out just a little bit of an advantage after a poor first sector for Daniel Tomsic, and Jose Borges doesn't look like he's threatening at all either. We've got 20 minutes to go then in this first race of the day in the PenPower European V8 Supercar Championship here on Apex Racing TV. Adam Bath here with Stam Kumo.
Oh, need to interrupt. Second place between Jackson and Aldin.
Oh yeah. Into the final corner, into turn 11, and there you go. There goes Simon Lattimore's cutback, and Chris Jackson had a little wobble as well just to exert things. Here they come over the line. Chris Jackson trying to hold on to that second place. He moves across, and Lattimore should go up the inside into that first corner. You can see the car squirreling about under braking, and the all-black car goes wide, and off goes Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson, the teammate of Tony Klusterman, loses it in the first corner whilst battling with Stephen Lattimore, and that's another position for Rafał Kucharczyk. He's back up to 3rd now.
Yeah, it almost looked like Lattimore ran too deep, but then Jackson also locked up the rears and spun around. And good job for him to get out of the way quickly and not collect anyone else in that incident.
Looked like that Chris Jackson might have been trying to go for the cutback because of the entry of Stephen Lattimore, but yeah, that didn't go at all well. And Lattimore driving for the Never Quit Racing squad, and he's now down to 5th place now, 2 positions lower than where he started.
You meant Chris Jackson. Lattimore is
yes, Chris Jackson, yes. Yeah. Stephen Lattimore to 2nd place, yeah, the privateer. The Australia-New Zealand driver doing a good job here in what looks like his first race meeting in the European V8 Supercar Championship. Chris Jackson not too far ahead now of Dave Janssen, the Benelux driver, in 6th position now as we start lap 9 of the race. 18 minutes and 53 seconds to go here. Tony Klusterman 5-second lead over Lattimore, and it's 2 seconds back to Kucharczyk, then 1.3 to Klaus Winter, and then we've got a battle between Richard Brightwell and Ronald Moons possibly on track. And yeah, this is a very congested part. Nice battle pack here.
Yeah, Moons, Field, Holter, and Stillbar. Yeah, that's the 4 cars here.
All too wide down the front straight. That's car 69. That's Ronald Moons versus car 026 Simon Field. Field going to the outside here. Usually races in Kia Optimas, but now he's racing in the V8 Supercars and different kettle of fish altogether. Field round the outside. There's no track there, Simon, and he's going to go across the grass and the gravel, get going again, and he might just get passed by David Zitterpart for good measure as well. And Simon Field, in the blinking of an eye, goes down to 17th position, and for the time being at least, Ronald Moons holds on to his 14th place. But Field's coming back straight away. Going to go around the outside as Zitterpart later on the brakes, much later on the brakes. And up the inside goes Kim Holter. He had a good entry there, but a terrible exit. And It's allowed Ronald Moons back around the outside, going into this sweeping right-hander. And Simon Field might fancy his chances as well. That's how quickly things can change in this battle.
Yeah, you don't know where to look because it's constantly changing here.
Field.
Now they are single file, but I don't think this remains for long.
Moons trying his best to hold on as we go into the penultimate corner, the V bend. Oh, up the inside goes Kim Holter, nearly has a look on Simon Field, and now Field might try and get past Ronald Moons again. It's going to be take two here, going into the final corner. This battle's all over a spot inside the top 14. Moons 14th, Simon Field 15th, who's now under pressure from Kim Holter as we go out the final corner. Didn't get a particularly good run there, did Simon Field. Simon Field in the purple, white and blue Ford, whilst Kim Holter in the multicoloured Holden. And Simon Field now right onto the back of Ronald Moons again. In just the space of a straight, he was having to fend off the attack from Kim Holter, and then next thing you know, he's right on the back of Ronald Moons in that orange, white and black Holden.
Yeah, and behind them is still Zitterberg, who's very close behind Holder.
The turn 6 they go, and these guys are catching Richard Brightwell pretty quickly. Brightwell in 13th position was quick on that last lap, but seems to have had a poor first sector or two of this lap, and that's what allowed these guys to close in somewhat. And now going into the S's section, so turns 8 and 9, and up to turn 10. And yeah, Richard Brightwell, he's starting to feel the pressure just a little bit. And here comes Kim Holter on Simon Field again. Got a good run there out of V Bend, but Simon Field able to hold on for the time being anyway. Into the final corner, Field shows him the door on the inside line, but Kim Holter not close enough to get it done. And Simon Field should have the superior exit, indeed he does. And he's able to hold on to his 15th position. A good race from Simon Field. He's the biggest mover in the field, no pun intended. And he's gained 6 positions since the start of the race, up to 15.
Yeah, looking at the Brightwell's previous lap, it was the 23, which is this lap was even second slower, so he definitely must have had some mistake because the one before that was 25. And now this is still a wildcard battle here. And probably the closest battle that we have going on right now.
Yeah, it is nothing really happening at all at the front. As we see this battle unfolding, 6-second lead for Tony Klosterman, the Canadian, really in a league of his own here at the moment. And yeah, this battle for 40.
For 7th place between Lessen and Motegi.
Oh, just as Simon Field makes a mistake, yeah. 7th position, Lenson versus Busalan, yeah. The Pokemon liveried car versus the red, black and white. Look at that, darting across the track there goes Lenson. And Jean-Philippe Busalan, who looked under pressure a few laps ago, is definitely going on the offensive this time and is going to the outside of Dan Lenson for the first corner. But he's able to hold on to it for the time being anyway. Now into this very quick and narrow S's section. And Dan Lenson holding on at the moment, car 31. But he's going to be under pressure now as we exit turn 5. Wow, Jean-Philippe Busalan definitely putting his foot to the floor there on the exit. Not close enough to get a move done up the inside into turn 6. Definitely one of the main overtaking spots on the circuit. But you can see Dan Lenson didn't get the best run on the exit of that corner as we go underneath the banking on this unique twin rim Motegi circuit. This road course has got no connection with the oval at all. And into the S's section, and Jean-Philippe Busalan, what are the lap times like? Last time around 22.999 for car 666. And a 23.1 for Dan Lenson. So it wasn't a very quick lap last time around for the bright yellow 31 car. But Jean-Philippe Busalan definitely has his sights set on a spot inside the top 7.
And it definitely looks like Lenson is feeling the pressure. He's making small mistakes here and there, and his corner entry is not quite consistent. He keeps taking the retard line, which is slightly compromising his exit speed. But also at the same time, Busalan has maybe a little bit of traction issues out of the corners.
Yeah, maybe it's just his eagerness to get the foot down as quick as possible. But yeah, you can see through these first few corners, he is definitely going all gung-ho here to gun-ho, I should say, to get that 7th position as we go through turns 4 and 5 hitting all the apexes there, Jean-Philippe Bousselin, but at the same time, Dan Lenson doing the same as well, and that's what's keeping him ahead for the time being anyway. There's one lap 13 of the race now, we're past halfway, 12 minutes to go, and that was a lock-up for Lenson, and Lenson has a little wiggle on the exit of turn 6 as well. This is giving Bousselin every opportunity he needs to. Look at that, they're both sliding their way through this slippery Motegi circuit.
And look at Lenson run a little bit too deep here, and this is giving Bousselin it was giving a better exit, but he wasn't able to really make any move on it. Now looking for a cutback.
Jean-Philippe Bousselin driving for the AOD racing team, currently sitting 9th in the championship standings, whilst Dan Lenson, he is...
I don't think we've seen him very often.
I don't think we've seen him much often as well. I couldn't find him on my championship standings, but anyway, he's proving himself here against a man who currently sits in the top 10 in the championship. Oh, commentators cursed him right there, and off goes Dan Lenson, and that's Bousselin through into 7th, and Tomstick through as well, and that should be Jose Borges through into 9th as well.
Yeah, that's Lenson all the way back to 10th. Just inside the top 20.
There's a valiant effort, and another victim of the first corner. It was the hump at Bathurst last time out, and it's that first corner that seems to be catching a few of these Fiat Supercar drivers out in this opening race here at Motegi.
Yeah, looking, well, he still has Borges right in front of him, so there is enough time to try and make back that position. And meanwhile, our battle pack still continues with Bradwell, Moons and Holter, all within a few tenths of each other.
Simon Fields, the car that's missing from that trio, he's dropped back recently. Did see him having a little bit of an issue a few laps ago, but yeah, he's down in 16th place now. But this is the battle over 14th. Ronald Moons ahead of car 16, ahead of Kim Holter in 15th place. And Ronald Moons in 14th place, the orange and black 69 car, the drift department liveried Holden. Holden here, so the Ford of car 22, Richard Brightwell, is outnumbered somewhat in this battle as we go into the final corner, turn 11 to start lap 15 of the race. See what the lap times are like for these guys as they come over the line. You can see once again struggling for traction on this this famous Japanese tarmac. Over the line we go, lap 15. Brightwell now under pressure, Moon under pressure from Holter as we go into turn 1. Lap times last time around, Brightwell 1:23.491, 23.6 for Moons, and a 23.4 as well for Kim Holter, the fastest out of the three. Kim Holter on that last lap. Less than 10 minutes to go now to settle this duel, and what is over 13th position on track.
Holter only 3 tenths behind Moons, and he is making the move.
Oh, that's not good at all. He did try, but it didn't go very well. The execution didn't go, wasn't really good at all. And yeah, he's remains in his 15th position. However, you can see that Richard Brightwell's used that opportunity to put some daylight. Well, I say daylight because we're racing at night, but a bit of space between himself and Ronald Moons. Moons will have to spend the next lap or two to try and close that back up again.
Behind them there seems to be another battle fight going on for the 17th place, led by Robert Lundgren. Behind him is Sitterbard and Kohler. They're also very close to each other.
Yeah, free car train here. All is a sandwich here, and up the inside goes Kohler. Having a little look at the inside into the final corner. On car 72, David Zitterbart, and you can see the Apex Academy car in front of them. Robert Lundgren didn't get the best run at all, the Scandinavian driver, and this could make him vulnerable to attack. Car 72, Zitterbart's going to the outside into the first corner. Oh, they're both off. That is a disaster, and it looks like they both suffered exactly the same issue, Sam. I think they both locked the rears again.
Yeah, that happened very quickly. Just bring the replay on the screen. So here they're coming across the line. Zitterbart takes the outside line. Yeah, both locked the rears, just spun in different directions.
And a bit of contact for good measure.
Yeah, Kohler sees it and says thank you. 2 positions for him.
Nice battle going on now for 8th and 9th. This is between Daniel Tomczyk and a recovering Dan Lenson. The bright yellow car trying to get some positions. Boosterland seems to have left those guys just a little bit. These two squabbling over 8th and 9th position. The green and black Ford, car number 111 of Tomczyk, got 3 positions from where he started. Tomczyk started 11th on the grid after finishing in 10th in practice. It was a slower lap, incidentally, in qualifying. And now going through the S's at turns 4 and 5. Trying to keep back Dan Lenson, who was running well until that excursion at the first corner on lap 12.
Yeah, and on this previous lap, Lenson was able to get past Borges, who seems to... we didn't quite catch it on the screen, but I believe he had some issue, maybe spin off or something like that, because he was really slow on the previous lap.
Yeah, last time around a 1:25, 3 seconds slower than the lap before, and the lap before was his personal best in the race, Jose Borges, so he might have just overcooked it on the following lap, and that's the reason why he's not as close to Dan Lenson and Daniel Tomczyk anymore. Long to go in this race, 6 minutes to go. Nothing's changed at the front. Tony Kloosterman still leads Stephen Lattimore by 7.5 seconds now. Definitely in control of things at the moment. Will he be able to keep it up in the feature race, where of course there will be a pit stop to take place in that one, and you don't want to miss that. That'll be coming up at 9 PM British summertime. Jarzik in 3rd, Klaus Witter in 4th. Kim Holter is off, and it's at is that turn 6? No, it's the final corner.
Yeah, that's the hairpin. Let's see what happened.
Oh, another car to lose it under braking. It was going at the inside at the time.
Yeah, he's trying to make the move. Just maybe went too deep and tried to save it. Just was able to hold on.
Didn't get any damage from that. It was just a quick trip through the inside gravel, and he's got going again in 16th place. That has allowed Simon Field to gain 1 position. He's back up to 15th place. A spot inside the top 15 up for grabs for Simon Field then, inside the final 5.5 minutes of this opening race, the sprint race in the PenPower European Beat Supercar Championship. And Simon Field now isn't too far away from that Richard Brightwell Ronald Moons battle that just doesn't seem to go away at all. Going up to the S's into turns 8 and 9. Simon Field closing on these guys right away, right with them now as we start the last few laps.
Yeah, smoking his tires coming into the braking zone, so he's definitely pushing it. Oh, and Brightwell has a little twitch out coming out of that corner.
Oh, I thought Field was going to sell him a dummy then on Ronald Moons, but Moons closing up on the rear of Richard Brightwell under braking. Very close to him there, but you can see that Brightwell took a different line for that final corner and was able to get the power down a lot easier than Ronald Moons was able to, and that's what's kept him in front of the Holden for now. As we're now on to lap 19 of the race, 4.5 minutes to go. Moons overshoots the corner, and that should be a spot for Simon Field. Indeed it is. Field up to 14th place, and Ronald Moons just pushing a bit too hard in his pursuit of Richard Brightwell there.
Yeah, that gives Brightwell a small break, with Simon Field is a bit over a second behind them. So maybe this allows him to just collect his thoughts and get back into the rhythm. Or not, as Simon Field instantly gets up.
He's been up and down since that happened. Since his mistake earlier on, he has been able to climb back up to 14th place now. You can see locking the left front in his pursuit of Richard Brightwell, who seems to be valiant in his pursuit of holding up this 13th, staying in this 13th position. 4 positions gained for him so far. Richard Brightwell started 17th on the grid, now currently in 13th. But for how much longer? Simon Field definitely looking racy in the closing stages. Doesn't go for the inside into the final corner, wants to try and set up Brightwell through this hairpin at turn 11 so he can get the move done into the first corner. However, once again, I think Richard Brightwell, that final corner definitely seems to be your corner of expertise, because once again he got a fantastic run, was able to stay ahead of Simon Field.
Yeah, finding the fast line through that corner is not as simple as it seems. I remember practicing like hundreds of times here with the IndyCar, and it's there is a fast line here, but it takes some time to find it. It's not as obvious like just hit the mid-apex. I can't remember from the top of my head how the line goes through there, but it's not as obvious as it might seem.
Is it just this track, or is it all tracks with this this Japanese tarmac?
And I think it's just for this there is this specific corner, because the way the track campers and how you can use the curbs.
Also, this track known for motorbike racing in the MotoGP series. Don't see too many car races going on around here, but we're seeing it here today in the European V8 Supercar Championship. And yeah, your opinion of this this Motegi circuit, Sam? Is it up there with some of the best, or would you rather not race around this circuit?
This is actually one of my favorite circuits, mainly because the curbs, they are forgiving, they don't break the cars, and there's a good rhythm to it. So you can just, the mid section, it's very fun when you have the car perfectly balanced. You can just flow the car right through. There's enough overtaking spots, and there's plenty of room to just have a good race. It suits very large variety of cars. So yeah, I enjoy it.
No sausage curves around here, definitely. 1 minute, 90, just under 90 seconds to go then in this sprint race in the European V8 Supercar Championship. In the last few laps, Tony Klusman laps 5 seconds quicker than Stephen Landemore to increase the gap to 14 seconds. In fact, they were very slow on that last lap. I don't know why. Stephen Landemore has just put in a 22 though, so he has got back to pace. But yeah, Simon Field though, he's really harassing Brightwell here, forcing Brightwell into locking the left front there, going into the S's at turns 8 and 9. Battle's really going to go down to the end here as we're starting the final lap of the race for the sprint race here in the V8 Supercar, the PenPower European V8 Supercar Championship. And Simon Field has got a good run here through the penultimate corner. He's going to go to the outside though into turn 11, and so does Richard Brightwell. Comes across the front of that Ford, and these two Fords are going to go at it through the final corner. Car 22, that is Richard Brightwell in 13th position. Car 14 is car 026. That is Simon Field. He's trying to get that 13th spot away as they come over the line. White flag is out. Field going up the inside, but cuts back to the racing line. Be going for a move into turn 6. Oh.
I think that turn 6 is way better on this layout. You don't actually get a whole lot of draft on that main straight that we have right now, because first half of it is uphill, so you not really accelerate until you dip down to the downhill.
I thought this is the final lap, but Tony Klusman's just crossed the line with just enough time left to do one more, so lap 23 will be the final lap of the race. But Simon Field continues to be right on the rear of Richard Brightwell as they're now going up to the S's for what will be the penultimate time in this sprint race. Having a little bit look at the inside there. Oh, a little lock-up from Simon Field, but at the same time Brightwell has a little lock-up as well. They're both really struggling here for grip in the closing stages of the race, and Simon Field loses about half a second there to the back of Richard Brightwell. You can see on the rear wing he's supporting the Billy Munger tributes, and yeah, there'll be a charity race on Apex Racing TV over the next few weeks in support of that. And Richard Brightwell at the moment holding on to that 13th position as we start the final lap. Oh, nearly lost it, yeah.
Yeah. Somehow he keeps hold of it.
Tony Klusman takes the win as Rafał Kucharczyk is up in second place. What's happened to Stephen Lattimore? Slow. He's got damage to the car. What's happened here? I might get a replay of this. And it looks like it might have happened a while ago for Lattimore, but in fact, Stephen Lattimore out of fuel, and is he going to make it across the line? I don't think he is. The car's all streaming by. Klusman takes the win, by the way. Rafał Kucharczyk second in the end. Third for Klaus Winter, an unexpected podium for him. The car might just creep across the line. The downhill nature of this front straight might just work in his favour here. Stephen Lattimore, where is he going to finish?
I
Actually,
think they are still going uphill at this section.
is he going to get? But he still might get a top 10 here. Clyde Whiting is just coming onto the front straight. He's going to get it. Clyde Whiting gets. Did Clyde Whiting get that? Yes, he did.
Yes.
Just so Whiting will get the top 10, but Stephen Lattimore, despite running out of fuel, will just get that 11th place.
That's something we've seen in the previous weeks. Drivers really getting it close with the fuel. And I think they were expecting one less lap, but the cruiser was running such a pace that they end up with one extra.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the final lap, and I wonder if some of the drivers... And it's going to be very interesting to see what that does to the championship. The top two, don't forget, Rafał Kucharczyk led the way in the points going into this race meeting. What's that win for Tony Klosterman done to the championship? We'll hopefully find out at the end of the race meeting. Klaus Winter takes the third spot on the podium. Chris Jackson in fourth after getting a good start, but losing it in the early stages of the race. Sixth for Jean-Philippe Bousselin. Daniel Tomsic in seventh. Eighth is Dan Lenson. Ninth, Jose Borges, and 10th, Clyde Whiting. 11th, there he is, Stephen Lattimore. 12th, Anthony Woodward. Simon Field did manage to get past Richard Brightwell in the end. His hard work paid off. Unfortunately for Richard Brightwell, that did mean he lost that 13th place in the end, and the points that went with it. Kim Halter in 15th, 16th for Ronald Moons, 17th, the last car on the lead lap on Cola, and then the cars one lap down on Bill Svitzer, one lap down along with Robert Lundgren in his Apex Academy car, and one lap down, and David Zitzebart 2 laps down, and Benjamin Rasinga 6 laps down, and the cars that didn't take the start were John Manley and Martin Brandon. Right, the time is...
Yeah.
The practice...
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, your thoughts on the sprint race, Sam?
Yep, it was more of the same that we've seen. Great racing, very close. And looks like here we get these kind of small battle packs that will form. I was maybe expecting a bit easier time to overtake, but maybe the track was just so slippery that they weren't able to push hard into most of these corners. As we saw, there was plenty of locking up and plenty of issues with the rear traction.
Well, it is just coming up to 10 past 8, so the second race is due underway in about 50 minutes time. But don't worry, in between that time we will have the qualifying session as well, where the drivers have got to do it all again to set their spots on the grid. So we will have that after this break. You're watching the PenPower European V8 Supercar Championship here at Twigmy Motegi on Apex Racing TV.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
From far away they came to us with knowledge. They changed our world and left us without warning.
Nick Tandy, what a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
From far away they came to us with knowledge. They changed our world and left us without warning.
Andy, what a move! Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's gonna be into the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
From far away they came to us with knowledge. They changed our world and left us without warning. They will return the day when they are needed. Our gaze is shifted.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, and welcome back to Twin Ring Motegi. It's still dark here, and welcome to the second race of the day in the PenPower European V8 Supercar Championship. This is round 15 of the season on the Twin Ring Motegi East Circuit. Good sprint race. Now we've got a 1 hour feature race with a pit stop included as well. Plenty to talk about over the next 60 minutes of racing. But first, we've got the Superpole session yet again. The drivers, the top 10 in qualifying, duking it out for the best spots on the grid. And the current order after the opening session looks like this. Tony Klusterman back at it again. Is he going to go for the double here at Twin Ring Motegi? Rafał Kucharczyk is going to push him all the way. He's currently in second, half a second behind Klusterman. To be in a league of his own so far, Tony Klusterman here today. Klaus Winter in third as Dave Janssen goes off in the qualifying session. Fourth, Chris Jackson. Fifth, Stephen Lattimore. Sixth is Jean-Philippe Boussalan. The seventh, Kim Holter. Eighth, Dave Janssen, who's just gone back to the pits. Ninth, Jose Borges. And 10th, David Zitterbart. In the commentary box again, it's me, Adam Bath, and Sam Kumo. And Sam, we've noticed during this commercial break that for this second race, as David Zitterbart loses control of the car, the temperatures have plummeted even more. It's now 18 degrees ambient temperature and 18 degrees track temperature, and that's going to affect these cars in this second race.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how it affects the handling, but one thing that it will have effect on is the fuel consumption. We've seen in the previous races that guys have been been very close with the fuel, and even in the sprint race, which was at hotter track temperature, we had, I believe it was Steven Latimore who ran out of the fuel coming out of the last corner and dropped the few positions there. So I wonder if drivers have taken that into account here with this longer race.
Yeah, it was Lattimore that ran out of fuel, just a few corners to go, and he just managed to scramble it across the line and missed out on the top 10 by just about a second. Clyde Whiting was able to beat him to that one. Yeah, qualifying underway at the moment. We'll run you through also the drivers that are outside the top 10. Peter Bingham in 11th. 12th, Daniel Tomsick, who had a good first race. Car 111 was up inside the top 10, close to getting a top 5 as well. Clyde Whiting was able to get a top 10 at the end of the race. He's going to start in 13th. 14th for Arnulf Kohler, and then Ronald Moons in 15th. 16th, Richard Brightwell. 17th, Anthony Woodward. 18th, Bill Switzer. 19th, Robert Lundgren, the Apex Academy driver who was involved in contact in the first race. And definitely starting in last is Simon Field, the only car not to set a time in this qualifying session. So once again, he's probably going to be getting some entertaining racing done in the race. And the pit stops, in this series, does it really shake up the order too much, or do the drivers really have these pit stops cut down to fine art in this championship?
I think it will always shake up the field, and especially on a track like this. I don't think, especially, well, many drivers, or at least I haven't even done a pit stop on this layout. It's so rarely used, and I would imagine that the pit entry is very slippery. It's also very tight. It's like the hairpin, but much tighter. So we'll see how the drivers approach it.
Shades of the Nürburgring pit lane, really. And if you do mess up, you'll probably end up sliding back out onto the racetrack and having to do another lap of on the fuel and on the tyres. And with the drivers cutting the fuel as fine as they can, and we saw that with Lattimore in that first race, you really don't want to do that. Or you could just do a David Coulthard and ends up smashing into the wall on the inside. So yeah, that pit lane could be a tricky spot for these drivers in the nighttime conditions, and just on this track in general. Yeah, 18 degrees ambient temperature, 18 degrees track temperature as well. That's 6 degrees lower than what we had for the first race. It was 24 degrees in the sprint race, but now we've got 18 degrees for this feature race in the PenPower V8 Supercar Series. I hear someone's skidding about all over the place, but I can't see who it is. It is Kim Holter.
Yeah, that might be Kim Holter, exactly. We can also confirm that Dan Lensen is not participating in this longer race. Apparently his racing rig is not quite suitable for longer races right now, but hopefully he will be back next week with a better solution for the racing rig and is able to participate in the long race.
I wonder if he's got the rig set up so realistically he's probably feeling all the bumps and jolts in the V8 Supercars. If that was bad enough for a 30-minute race, imagine what it would have been like for an hour. So yeah, hopefully we see him back next time. Did prove himself to be quite a good driver there. Made a small mistake that cost him the possibility of a top 5, but yeah, he was involved in some good battles today at the front.
Yeah, I think we had plenty of good battles going on, and maybe the lead battle wasn't really happening with Kuchersik. Well, let's see if we can get a good battle going on for this second race.
Well, the fuel for this one is, once again, 75% fuel for the drivers, dynamic weather, and pretty much the same rules and regulations as the first race. When else do we usually see these Fords and Holdens coming in to make their mandatory pit stop? Is it usually bang on halfway, or do the drivers usually stretch the fuel window so they can pit earlier or after?
There's been some variance in it, and it really depends on the weather also. And some of the guys, I can't remember from top of my head. I think Klusterman is usually running very long. But also because you might get some damage, you might want to just pit in early if you get any damage. I don't think it's really an issue on here maybe it was a bigger issue at the Bathurst, where the wars are much closer.
We shouldn't really need to worry about the tyres, should we, at this race meeting? Is it all
No,
going to
I
be
don't
just
think
about
so.
fuel?
Yeah, the fuel is the bigger issue. Tires are, I don't think tires are a major issue unless you just keep punishing them.
Saw some of the drivers definitely doing that, sliding their way through some of the corners. That battle in the midfield between Simon Field, between Richard Brightwell, who Field was able to get by in the end, and Ronald Moons as well, as Kucharczyk puts in a new personal best, a 1:19.8. That does move him to within 0.3 of a second of Tony Kloosterman. So highlighting that Kucharczyk still definitely does have the pace, as Stephen Lattimore starts another lap. Whereabouts is Kloosterman on circuit? He's in the pit, so confident with his not 1:19.5. He's going to watch and see what the rest of the drivers can do in this final 70 seconds of the session.
Yeah, this will be the final lap for Kucharczyk and also for Lattimore. And Kloosterman, he is not going to be able to even make a odd lap at this point. There's less than 1 minute remaining. So these will be the final laps for most of these guys.
Right, let's see who's on a lap then. Jean-Philippe Bousselin going into the V corner, the penultimate corner on the circuit, turn 10, and into turn 11, this final corner where we were talking during the first race about how difficult it is to find the actual racing line through that corner. And at the final corner goes Bousselin, a bit late on the throttle really, the AOD racing driver, and comes across the line and does a 1:23.497. That is 3 seconds slower. That might just be a first lap to get the tyres up to temperature. He's on his way again now. Who's the next car to complete a lap? It's Chris Jackson, Kloosterman's teammate. He does a 21.3, a second slower than his personal best. Who's next? It's Stephen Lattimore. He's going to come across the line with 10 seconds to go, so he should get one more lap in. A 20.492, only 900ths of a second away from his personal best, and that leaves him still in 5th position.
And the next one coming up is Bousselin, who had a bit of a sideways moment coming out of there. Actually, no, I think he has already completed his lap, and he has parked the car.
Borges has just come across the line now and done a 20.5. That's leapfrogged him past Bousselin up into 6th position in the qualifying standings. Checker flag is out. Chris Jackson, he is on a lap as we speak. Don't know if it's any good. We'll find out when he gets to the line. To the S's section, Chris Jackson, Tony Kloosterman's teammate, was able to was up into 2nd position after a terrible start for Rafał Kucharczyk in race 1, but had a small off. That ruled him out of getting a 2nd position. Here he comes into the final corner, turn 11. Can he improve on his 1:20.3? Here we go, up to the line. There it is, 1:21.247, and that's just a 1/10 of a second quicker than his previous lap. It's not enough to improve his personal best, and he should stay in 4th place. Time being. Anyone else on a lap? Rafał Kuczarzyk's going very slowly, so I think that is pretty much everyone's done. Tony Kloosterman and Rafał Kucharczyk do it again. Top 2, and Kucharczyk, Sammy's definitely going to be desperate to make sure that he gets a better jump away from the line this time, so we can take some form of competition to Tony Kloosterman.
Yeah, hopefully we really saw Kloosterman run away with it in the previous race, but this one will be longer. There's enough time for the race to develop, and hopefully we can get a better battle for the lead.
Well, Kloosterman is bidding to make it 3 wins in a row. Won the feature race at Bathurst 3 weeks ago, I think it would have been as well. And Kucharczyk, who was the championship leader going into this race meeting, will he be it though when we leave Twin Ring Motegi in just under an hour's time? It's going to be another standing start. Let's run you through the starting grid. Pole position goes to Tony Kloosterman, 2nd Rafał Kucharczyk, 3rd Klaus Winter, 4th is going to be Chris Jackson, 5th Stephen Lattimore, 6th is Jose Borges with Jean-Philippe Bousselin in 7th, 8th is Dave Janssen, 9th is Kim Holter, and 10th David Zitterbart. Better qualifying session from him. 11th Peter Bingham, 12th Daniel Tomczyk, 13th Clyde Whiting, 14th Arnulf Kohler, 15th is Ronald Moons, 16th Richard Brightwell, 17th, Anthony Woodward. 18th is Bill Svitzer. 19th, Robert Lundgren. And starting it back in 20th place is Simon Field.
Well, if their previous race is anything to go by, I think Simon Field will be moving up from their final position.
Definitely, yeah. We saw the makings of some great battles in the first race. Didn't see too many overtaking. That's not the fault of the drivers. That's just this tricky nature of this twin-ring Motegi circuit. The drivers really having to pick their overtaking opportunities and really getting caught out at that first corner. While it was all action at the start in race 1 as well, excuse me, as a Rafał Kucharczyk definitely didn't get a good jump away from the line, and that caused a whole load of pandemonium behind him. We've got 35 seconds to go. We're just waiting for Simon Field to take his position on the grid, and we will get round 15 of the PenPower European V8 Supercar Championship underway.
Yeah, it might be that Simon Field could be starting from the pits. No, there he is.
Okay, then here we go. Drivers look to the lights above them, and the revs begin to rise for race 15 of the European V8 Supercar Championship. We're underway, and this time it looks like a better start for Kucharczyk. He's able to hold on to a second place at least. I don't think he's going to trouble the leader though as we go into the first corner. Chris Jackson also a man on the move as the drivers trying to find their own bit of space going into the first corner. Kloosterman leads, second is Kucharczyk. Klaus Winter is going to go wide and nearly hits Chris Jackson. He's lost back into position as Lattimore gets into the back of Winter now. And there's cars off, there's Jorge Borges, there's Dave Janssen. Two cars that started inside the top 10, both on the inside grass.
And more contact.
Oh yeah,
was that Zitterbart who came in contact?
Bart Anthony Woodward with the paws all over the car. Oh, it looked like he was off in the first corner.
But look at this. We have a battle for the lead.
Oh, here we go then. Kloosterman versus Kucharczyk. This is what we wanted. And problem for Lattimore, I think that might drop down. Is starting to drop down the order. Brusseland's up to 4th. Going into the S's for the first time. Tony Kloosterman now has to do some defensive driving, which he hasn't had to do all race meeting. In race 1, he had his teammate Chris Jackson acting shotgun. Now he's got his championship rival, the man who was 6 points ahead of him going into this race meeting. As Kucharczyk nearly loses it on the opening lap.
Yeah, we saw Lattimore, he completely overshot there, turn 6. We just saw him run wide.
Oh, but car off, that's... Oh, just car off, Richard Brightwell on the penultimate corner. And the PenPower car in trouble there. And he was battling Simon Field in the opening race, however he is now down in last position, and it's a terrible race meeting for Robert Lundgren. He looks like he's been involved in contacts yet again, and he's come into the pits along with Anthony Woodward.
Yeah, that was just in the first few corners.
Well, end of the opening lap, Tony Kloosterman has a second lead over Kucharczyk as Simon Field has all of a sudden gained a ton of positions, and he's off! Right on cue, Simon Field, I was about to say gained 6 positions, but he's completely lost it and is off at turn 2.
Yeah, I think that all started with the colors and having some issues going wide on the first corner.
And yeah,
then Simon Field just lost it.
Tomczyk is having a battle here. Well, he's had a battle. He's through. He's passed on Philippe Brusseland, and I said that Tomczyk had a good first race. He's having an even better second race here. He's up to 4th position already, just getting past Brusseland, and now Brusseland has to feel the wrath of Peter Bingham in that other PenPower car. We saw his teammate Richard Brightwell go off at that penultimate corner. Behind him, Stephen Lattimore, the driver who was going to get a podium in race 1 before he ran out of fuel. He wants to get some of these positions back that he lost in the early going. He's currently in 7th, 2 positions lower than where he started. Having a little look there at the inside of car 667. That's Peter Bingham. But for the time being anyway, car 7 is going to be staying in 7th.
Yeah, Lattimore might have had some contact because at least the front end of his car looks a little bit damaged. And he was very close to Bingham on the braking into turn 11, which was the last corner. On the exit of turn 5, down in the hill into turn 6. That is very late braking. Oh, and that's even worse by Stephen Lattimore.
It looked like Peter Bingham had missed his braking point. Somehow he managed to avoid the back of Busalan, but I think Lattimore might have just followed the brake lights, Sam, and that's what caused him to clatter into the back of the other PenPower car. So it's a disaster for that team. 2 cars off in 3 laps.
Yeah, but Lattimore is able to continue, and we'll have to wait and see if that damage slows him down. Also, Janssen went off there, lost a few positions down to Elam.
Dave Janssen also off. Oh, it's all kicking off behind Lattimore. That's Dave Janssen off, and that is Clyde Whiting. As rejoining the track goes Dave Janssen. He's now down to 11th place. Borges up into 10th place. However, he is 4 positions lower than where he started. Clyde Whiting finds himself back inside the top 10. Came back top 10 spot very late on in race 1, literally on the run to the line after Stephen Lattimore ran out of fuel. Clyde Whiting, one of the admins in this PenPower V8 Supercar League, is up to 10th.
Meanwhile, at the front, Klusterman has been able to pull a 2-second gap over Kucharczyk, and Kucharczyk is almost 4 seconds ahead of Jackson.
Kucharczyk is trying his best, yeah, isn't he? But he's 0.2 of a second slow on that previous lap.
Yeah, the difference is not huge, but it's enough to just slowly increase lap by lap. What's happening
For
here?
Stephen Lattimore, well, it looked like a problem. He's still on my timing screen, but he'd gone off for a second.
I think
yeah,
he might
still
have
there.
been disqualified. Let's see. Going into turn 6.
Now this is interesting because there isn't an incident limit in this championship, but yeah, we seem to have lost Stephen Lattimore. Maybe a connection issue for the all-black Holden. Yeah, he's definitely going to drop down the order after that. No,
yeah,
he's back.
Yeah, he's back. I was wondering because I didn't see him touching anything.
Well, there you go. He is now in. He is now in
8th.
So he's in 8th place. Behind that is Kim Holter. Yes, it is. So Lattimore disappearing for a brief moment. It is back again. Busalan, though, he's got to deal with Klaus Winter. Winter, who started on the 2nd row of the grid, finds himself in 6th place and is chasing car 666. So going to be having an eye full of 6s here, and has got a good run on the exit of turn 5. Is he going to have a lunge into turn 6? Oh, you can see Busalan sliding about under braking. This is another Fords versus Holden battle on our hands here, and here comes Winter to the outside, but no way through because Busalan was able to get just a good enough run on the exit of turn 6, and these two very close as they go into the S's.
Yeah, just like in the sprint race, Busalan was really struggling with the grip, especially on the corner exit, but now he's already struggling under braking as well. So I don't know if is the tire pressure too low for this kind of weather or what it is, but he really doesn't seem happy with that car.
Oh, on the inside there goes Vincent, but surely that's going to be a terrible exit, and that's what's going to save Busalan's bacon for the time being. Just in front of those two, you've got Daniel Tomsik, who's had a fantastic second race. 8 positions to 4th. Car 111. I say that, I thought he was going to go off then briefly. It's the first corner. As Busalan again starts to feel the pressure through turn 2, through turn 4 and 5 now, through the S's, and Busalan having to take defensive lines. You can see him trying to throw the car at that second apex, and still having to wrestle with the car. At the same time, Klaus Winter doing the same as well. He's having to stay behind in that 6th position, going a bit further into the corner on the brakes. Busalan still valiantly holding on to this top 5 spot, 2 positions higher than where he started, of course.
Yeah, Winter hasn't been able to get a good run out of the turn 5. He's taking slightly tighter line through there, so maybe he can try something here if he can get a good run out of this turn 10 and watch the hairpin.
Well, here comes Lattimore now. How quickly things can change in this V8 Supercar League, and when it looked like Winter was looking to get past Busalan as he goes very deep into that final corner, it looks like he's now having to feel the pressure from Stephen Lattimore. So Klaus Winter having to look ahead and look in the mirrors as well as they start lap 7 of the race. 51 minutes to go, we're not even 10 minutes into this race, and there's been plenty of action in the field so far. probably the closest battle that we've got on the circuit between Busalan and then Klaus Finter in car 73, and then car 07 in Stephen Lattimore. Simon Field makes a visit to the pits, probably because of damage. Lattimore nearly loses it on the exit of turn 5, and I'd probably say something that's too early probably to pit from here and make it to the end.
Possibly. I'm not exactly sure how the fuel works out with this series. We've seen some variants there, but if he is damaged, then maybe it's best to just pit him. And Winter really close to Busalan here.
Oh, that's very close. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the pit stop time for Simon Field. But yeah, this battle is definitely heating up. He's going for it. He's out of control. Klaus Winter slides across. That'll be a slowdown penalty as well as a trip to the grass and the gravel. It's going to be a few positions lost as well. Stephen Lattimore gets by, and that relegates Klaus Winter to 7th.
Simon Field has finished his pit stop. It's around 34 seconds, so that must have been repairs, I think, not just fuel.
Shows though, Sam, that you can't just throw the car up the inside. It's not like the Kia or the MX-5, and Klaus Winter there, he lost out big time because of that.
No, especially when you're just trying to hang on and make it through the corner anyways, then just you're making life more difficult for you if you just push it too hard.
Well, now this means a new car is chasing Jean-Philippe Busalan, and that seems to be a regular thing we've said today as Lattimore closes in under braking. Stephen Lattimore there, and Busalan, he's had to do the defensive driving in both the sprint race and he's doing so now in the feature race. We go through turn 7 and up to turn 8. Lattimore's looking up the inside actually. We can see if that move gets pulled off. Going to try and go around the outside. Lattimore, be interesting, going into the penultimate corner, turn 10. Looks like car 7 might just have it done here. Oh, Busalan tries to turn in, but I don't think it's going to work. Stephen Lattimore takes 5th position away from Busalan, but looks like Jean-Philippe's not giving up. He'll look up the inside into the final corner, but I think he might have to settle here, and yeah, Stephen Lattimore up to 5th place.
Yeah, good move. Was able to just hang on long enough to complete it in the final corner. And meanwhile, I can bet that Tomczyk has been just looking at what's been happening behind him on the mirrors and just been glad that he doesn't have to get involved with that.
Tomczyk has a comfortable advantage at the moment over Simon Lattimore. Stephen Lattimore, dear me, where are all these names coming from? Yeah, but however, on that last lap, Tomczyk was about 6 tenths of a second slower than Stephen Lattimore, and yeah, if he continues at that pace, Lattimore, he might be with Tomczyk, not his distant future. What has happened to Rafał Kucharczyk? Kucharczyk was in 2nd place, he is off in the S's.
He's off, and it looks like there is damage to his car.
Oh, lol, looking at it on the replay,
on
Sam,
screen.
he has the slightest wobble, and that puts him onto the curbs.
Hard impact with the wall. Just
That's
coming
probably
out with the turn 7.
That's probably shattered the right front completely, and he's going to have to limp back to the pits, and that's almost certain. That is certain retirement. He's probably going to tow back to the pits, or maybe even just drive back as slow as he can. The rules in the series do give you a fast repair, so but would you now do a pit stop? I think, Sam, get back to the pits, get the new car, and then get the fuel and see if you can make it to the end, because you definitely don't want to do 2 pit stops.
Yeah, I don't think you have any other choice than to pit right now, because if the car is not drivable, and I don't think it is after that kind of impact, he has to take the pit stop now.
Well, here he comes then. He's credit to him to getting it back. He's going to get the brand new car, and I think if he had gone for just the fast repair, I should say, he would be on his way now. So it looks like he might be getting a bit of service as well. But Rafał Kucharczyk, championship possibly falling away from him as Stephen Lattimore gets past Tomczyk.
Yes.
Yes, there we go. That is Lattimore. It didn't take him too long at all, did it? 22.5 last time around for Tomczyk, and a 21.1 again for Lattimore. So that explains the pace that Lattimore's had. And there you go, it's shown on the track. He's up into 3rd.
Yeah, the next guy in front is Jackson. but he has been running pretty good pace so far, so it will be much harder for Latimer to catch up to him.
It's definitely not over yet in this second race, but Tony Kloosterman has a 10-second lead over his teammate Chris Jackson. Pit stops are still to come though, so it could all still change. But now Klaus Winter fancies his chances on Jean-Philippe Bousselin, who's now in 5th place as a result of the demise of Kaczarzik. And Klaus Winter wants this position. He tried to get past earlier, it didn't go too well. That might not end well, Klaus, and he nearly tips the left rear of Bousselin into a spin, using all parts of the track there. Klaus Winter, is he going to have a look up the inside into turn 6? Probably a bit too far away, but definitely pushing hard in the early stages of this race to try and get past Bousselin here.
Yeah, definitely pushing hard. Just getting that tail out, coming out of the turn 8, turn 6. But it looks like it's very hard to just stay close. Yeah, I mean, all of them are having a little bit small mistakes here and there, but that's not enough to like give you the just free opportunity to pass.
But yeah, it's something we see in the Porsche iRacing Cup, which we have on Apex Racing TV, as Philippe Bousselin nearly goes into the grass. Closes up now on Tomczyk, but gets a terrible exit of the final corner when he tried to get up the inside there. This might give Klaus Winter the opportunity he needs. Yeah, in the Porsches, it's very difficult to follow cars, and you don't see too many overtakes there, but Bousselin might get overtaken here into the first corner as Winter goes around the outside. Bousselin will try whatever he can, because it looks like that Winter has got it done. He turns in and is just clear of the AOD racing car. Klaus Winter now up into the top 5, and that pushes Bousselin back again to 6th place.
Yeah, he hasn't had an easy evening tonight. He's constantly been under attack from somewhere, and looking behind him is Kim Holter, who is running fairly fast as well. So the evening might not be over for Jean-Philippe.
Well, I think he's probably just glad that he's got a bit of respite for the time being. So he was getting literally pelted with Fords and Holdens inside the opening dozen laps. Now down to 6th place. That's still a position higher than where he started though, to be fair. So probably having a good race for now. We've only had 4 cars into the pits so far. 2 of them have been fast repairs. Robert Lundgren in his Apex Racing Academy car, that was on the opening lap of the race. Anthony Woodward as well. And Rafał Kaczarzik, we saw his heavy impact with the wall. He's got back going again. Has taken a bit of fuel. And Simon Field also in to repair some damage, get some service.
But it comes for the 4th place. Yes.
Winter up the inside into turn 1. This might be pretty straightforward. And indeed it is. That is Klaus Winter up to 4th. Tomczyk goes off, puts 2 wheels into the grass and the dirt. That might give Jean-Philippe Bousselin the opportunity to form an overtake. He being the one overtaken in this second race of the day, and now he might be able to put an overtake on Daniel Tomczyk, who's lost a position there, down to 5th place now. To keep that spot inside the top 5, and Bousselin gets a relatively good run out of turn 6, but then again, so does Tomczyk, and these two might have a battle over the next few laps.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of lines Tomczyk takes here, if he's able to go away or not.
Once again, this is highlighting how tricky that opening sector is. Not only do they have that first corner to contend with, Sam, but that section that separates out the east circuit, and not only is it narrow, but it's also very dusty offline, and if you get offline there, you usually end up in the grass, like Tomczyk nearly did on that lap.
Yeah, and I can imagine that, especially in these conditions, when you have very low temperatures, the track feels very grippy, but once you run off the line, there's no grip at all, and that might contribute to making it much harder to make those overtakes.
On to lap 14 then. We're about 20 minutes of the way through this second race of the European PenPower V8 Supercar Series, and this is round 15 of the championship, the feature race, an hour-long race here with a pit stop included. We're yet to see the scheduled stops take place. For the time being, we're seeing some excellent racing out on track here between the Fords and the Holdens. And at the moment, the closest battle we've got on the circuit is between two Fords, between Jean-Philippe Bousselin in 6th place, the DH driver, Daniel Tomczyk, the Central Eastern Europe driver, in 5th position.
Yeah, we also have a good battle going on 8th place between Whiting and Bingham.
Oh yeah, two teammates as well.
Yes, 2 teammates.
Both in the Ford stable and in the PenPower team. And Bingham having a little look at the inside of Whiting there, who locks the left front going into turn 10. Job by that team so far. And behind them, Jose Borges, who regular in the top 10 shootout today. And at the moment, currently sitting in 10th position, however 4 positions lower than where he started.
Oh, and I think I just saw Whiting's helmet. That's certainly unique paint on that one.
Oh, I've just seen it, yeah. That's a very good helmet, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well it shows up on this stream. But
I wonder if it's going to be keeping that face when it's finished at this race. At the moment, it's all going well for him at the moment. He's in 8th position. And Anthony Woodward's just made a second visit to the pits. I just saw that on my timing screen, probably to get some fuel to get to the end of the race after making that pit stop on the opening lap. Now here comes Peter Bingham. 2 positions gained for him during the race so far. Clyde Whiting's gained 5, so 7 positions gained in total for the PenPower team. Bingham having a little look at the inside there. Clyde Whiting's got the pink mirrors, or claret, or maroon, or whatever you want to call them. And Bingham with the blue wing mirrors. One way of telling apart these 2 PenPower drivers.
and also Whiting has black tires in rims, and Bingham has white rims in his car.
Way of helping us and helping you as well identify which is which. And also, if we have a rear camera, you can see that they have their surnames on the rear spoiler. As you can see there, they are lapping car 265. That's Anthony Woodward coming out of the pits for the second time. Doesn't want to get involved in that squabble there. And Anthony Woodward does a good job of getting out of the way of them. Jose Borges a bit less ease of doing that, and he's just to get by Anthony Woodward by Bingham, but Anthony Woodward still holding up Jose Borges. I can tell you that Robert Lundgren and Kucharczyk are having a battle on track at the moment. This is over last car on the lead lap. Car 089 of Robert Lundgren, and Rafał Kucharczyk, the championship leader, position he doesn't really want to be in at the moment.
Oh, and apologies for that. It looks like our connection just dropped briefly. Hopefully we are back live again.
And we are back live as Kucharczyk moves into 17th position. That is 15 positions slower than where he started. So one at a time for Rafał Kucharczyk. Wonder what positions he might be able to gain during this pit stop phase. It isn't too far away. Fuel will be tops up, and it'll be good to go to get to the end of the race as once again Clive Whiting and Peter Bingham starting to stretch out a little bit now. Those two, Whiting has been able to put about 0.6 of a second over his PenPower teammate. Close again between Tomczyk and Bousselin. They're just on their way towards the penultimate corner. Bousselin having a little look up the inside there. Little lock-up as well from Tomczyk. That allows Bousselin to close in just a little bit more as well. However, we always say, Sam, that the driver behind can try and set him up through the final corner. It never seems to be the case. You've really got to rely on the car in front to make a mistake.
Yeah, and especially when the other car is your teammate, and as Bingham comes to the pits.
Bingham, the first of the cars.
Yes.
Yeah, the first of the cars to make a scheduled stop as Bousselin looks up the inside into the first corner. But Tomczyk turns in and should maintain the position. Oh, just about. As he throws it and nearly goes off. He puts 2 wheels into the grass but doesn't lose any grip. But this really puts him at a disadvantage through this very complicated section of the circuit. And it allows Bousselin the opportunity to close up again. Bingham still in his pit box. As Busalan goes up the inside. No way through though. 21.5 second stop for Peter Bingham, and looks like Tomczyk might just have shaken off Busalan for the time being.
Yeah, Busalan, he tried to make the move, but I don't think he was quite close enough. He was looking for getting a better run, but just wasn't able to like carry on with it, and had to slow down slightly behind Tomczyk.
That being said, this second half of the lap's been pretty poor by Daniel Tomczyk, and it's allowed Busalan to close right back up. I wonder if any of these two are going to take a trip to the pits. The pit lane entry road is there, and they both decide to stay out. It's going to be interesting to see. Bingham 21.5 second stop. So yeah, we'll see what the other times are like. Looks like no one inside the top 7 or 8 has pitted this time, but Busalan once again in the slipstream picks up a bit of a tow. But as someone was saying earlier in the broadcast, it doesn't really pick up. You don't really pick up much, especially down this straight, which in these V8 supercars isn't really too long.
Yeah, on the full course you get a great tow through the main straight and the straight after that, but not so much on that straight because of the uphill, which slows the cars down quite significantly.
Oh, I hear tyres skidding, and that's Simon Field. I thought it was going to be someone near the front, but Simon Field, who's a lap down, 19th position, having a few issues there. And he's the driver that Busalan and Tomczyk are both going to come up to now to lap. And they had a bit of an issue with Anthony Woodward. Well, Borges did when he was up in the mix. Actually, no, it was Holter, wasn't it? But yeah. Here comes Tomczyk. Doesn't seem to be good through this part of the lap, Sam. It seems to be a recurring thing as Busalan looks up the inside. Oh, that's very close to contact there. And if Busalan can just try and stay as close as he can through the opening sector, might have fancier chances, even to that penultimate corner. Maybe if Tomczyk makes another error going through this final corner.
Yeah, here now it looks like Busalan has a fairly good run here, and should be able to just at least try to make a move, and he does. Takes the inside line.
Oh, but Tomczyk very late on the brakes. Just about makes the corner. Again, Busalan closes up. Fantastic battle here going on. But this is over a spot inside the top 5. Get through the S's section. Already sitting 3rd in the championship. Tomczyk driving for the Sasa Racing team. As up the inside goes Busalan. No! I thought that was going to be contact, but somehow they survive. But Busalan's now going to be up the inside into turn 7, and he is through. But will he hold on to it though? You can see the cutback being performed there by Daniel Tomczyk. He's going to try and go around the outside here into the S's, but he's just not enough alongside. Billy Busalan driving for the AOD Racing team, 9th in the championship. Moves himself into the top 5.
Yeah, that was a good move, although maybe a little bit risky, but Tomczyk saw it coming and just gave enough room to not cause any issues for either of them.
That's really one thing you can do in these V8 supercars as Kim Holter closes in now on Tomczyk. You can almost frighten the driver out of the way. If you just put the car on the inside, the driver on the outside's got to give you room, and that's what really helps Jean-Philippe Busalan in getting by.
Yeah, but brake too late and you're also frightening yourself.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's by margins here as Busalan locks up into the first corner. Anyone else been into the pits recently?
Hey, we have battle for the 9th place, 8th place.
Oh yes. Yeah, it's between Clyde Whiting and Janssen, I believe. They're just going. Is it Borges?
No,
I apologise.
Borges
Yeah.
just made it past fighting.
Yeah, that is him now into 8th position. Clyde Whiting down a spot. David Zitterbart has just come into the pits. That's for a scheduled stop, I can only presume. And yeah, that is the Australian-New Zealand driver in. Clyde Whiting, yeah, down to 9th position now as Sergei Borges gets that 8th spot. Still two positions lower than where he started. Clyde Whiting, I think he'll still be pretty happy with this 9th place for now. Still 4 positions higher than where he started. But now, Borges is in a PenPower sandwich. Now got to try and get past Richard Brightwell as Stephen Lattimore decides as come into the pits. As Borges goes up the inside is of course Brightwell is a lap behind. There you go, that's me doing a Murray Walker on it, and there you go, that's Borges through, and Stephen Lattimore Wants to make sure he gets to the end, wants to make sure he tops up the car with enough fuel, and he's making sure he spends as much time in the pits as he can to make sure he gets every single drop in. 22.3 seconds stop for Lattimore.
Yeah, looks like it's around 22 seconds for most of these. But there is quite a bit of variance between the pit stop times.
And he gets out in 11th position. That's the highest position of anyone that's made a pit stop so far in this race. We are just about to get to the halfway mark in the race now. Half an hour and 30 seconds or so to go in this one. Still got the majority of the drivers to make their pit stop in this 20-car field. As off goes Lattimore. That's Stephen Lattimore, the Australian-New Zealand driver, and even though they don't change tyres in this race, Sam, that is just the tyre temperatures dropping just a little bit by sitting stationary in your pit box.
Yeah, that looks like I got the replay on the screen right now. It just got a tank slapper and off he went. Fortunately, he didn't have any kind of collisions or issues there.
Probably one of the biggest gravel traps we've got on this circuit there, Stephen Lattimore. So he picked the right corner to make a mistake, and got a bit of the curb as well, which didn't help matters. And he didn't lose any positions, but he would have lost a bit of time out as a result. Clyde Whiting is into the pits, the second of the PenPower cars to make a stop. He's also joined in the pits by, I think that is Arnulf Kohler. Yes, it is. So 2 of those cars coming in. That should be 2 easy positions for Stephen Lattimore. And those 2 taking on their fuel now to get them to the end of the race. Just half an hour's worth of fuel needed. And into the pits comes our race leader, Tony Kloosterman in. Shows you the gap he's made, that Clyde Whiting and Kohler were only just making their pit stops now as Tony Kloosterman comes in. Not a worry in the world. He could probably almost make a pit stop and rejoin in the lead. Probably not that much of an advantage, to be fair. It's a 45 second pit lane time here. But Tony Kloosterman have to worry at all. What about Chris Jackson? Is his teammate coming in? No, he's staying out. Tony Kloosterman, Sam, he can probably do a tyre change as well, and pit stops can finish. He'll probably still be in the lead.
Yeah, let's see. He's now extending 25 seconds for the pit stop, so that's pretty much normal for him. Around the same as everyone else.
He joins just behind Klaus Winter. Down
And
to
Jackson
third
runs
position.
into bad traffic here.
Oh yeah, he is. He's having to get past, that's Peter Bingham. And next is Arnulf Kohler. And this will not help him at all. Kim Holter has just come into the pits as well. He was having a battle with Busalan and Tomsick at the time, as Chris Jackson finally negotiates the lap traffic. He has got an Apex car somewhere. There's a battle going on there. Is that Bingham versus Kohler? Yeah, the 2 cars that came into the pits, they're now going at it on their out lap.
Yeah, that is for 14th place.
As Chris Jackson, our race leader, the Canadian, comes into the pits. There's the pit lane line. Get it slowed down to what is a 60 kilometers per hour speed limit. 40 or so miles per hour. Who else has come in? Chris Jackson in, also in Jose Borges. And a slightly slower stop than everyone else, 29 seconds. That's going to put him back behind Clyde Whiting, in fact, as Borges emerges from the pits. So he's going to have to spend the second stint closing back up to that PenPower car. Klaus Winter also in, so that should elevate Tony Kloosterman back to the race lead.
Yeah, slow stop for Borges, but also Whiting had a slow stop at 29 seconds. So they're roughly even with that.
Jackson, 32 second stop for Chris Jackson. Not what he would have wanted at all, and it means he will lose his effective second spot. Most certainly when the pit stops can conclude. He's behind Lattimore even, and Stephen Lattimore was off in the gravel at one point. So that shows you the... Oh no, he's just ahead. I do apologise. Just ahead of him. But Lattimore is on sort of fresher rubber, and Chris Jackson nearly goes off. And this is Lattimore's best opportunity to try and get past the Never Quit Racing driver.
Yeah, Jackson, his car is really twitchy on these cold tires. This is Lattimore is looking for it, just not close enough this time. I'm guessing Jackson might have had some repairs to be done, because I don't see any other reason why it would be so long.
If you speed on entry, do you have to serve the penalty in that stop, or is that after you make the pit stop?
I believe it is served after the pit stop. I mean, you can serve it, or you can just go and serve it some other time.
Okay.
I believe that
yeah.
was it 10 or 15 seconds?
Oh, yeah, I think it might be, as Jackson makes a slight error there, and Jean-Philippe Bousselin and Tom Schick both come in. Of course, those two were on track together as Chris Jackson slides, somehow saves this and somehow stays ahead of Stephen Lattimore. As here come Bousselin and Tom Schick. They're still in the pits. Whereabouts will these guys rejoin? They're one of the last cars to come in and make their pit stop. The only other guys that haven't pitted yet are Dave Jansen, Ronald Moons, and Bill Svitzer. Away goes Bousselin, just ahead of Tomsick, and that is a change in position actually. Where are these guys going to emerge from the pit lane though? Has anyone been able to get by them? Doesn't look like it. They're still ahead of Kim Halter.
Yeah, well, they are. Kucharczyk did make it ahead of them, but he did his pit stop way early. So I don't know if Kucharczyk is good enough to finish, or does he need to pit stop for another time for fuel.
Oh yeah, Kucharczyk, 16 laps in his stint. Ronald Moons 25 laps into his, along with Bill Svitzer on lap 26 of the race now. Dave Jansen in second place, still yet to serve his pit stop. He's just going through the penultimate corner now. Surely he will make the turn into the pit lane, and indeed he does. Slow it down to that line there and the yellow cones. Dave Jansen will come in and make his pit stop. Car 271. Jansen, fourth in the championship, driving for Slingshot Racing. Hasn't won a race yet this season. Doing well inside the top 5 in the championship, and is making his pit stop now.
Meanwhile,
goes
Ronald
through.
Moon stays out just a bit pits time. Let's see, Switzer also stays out.
With these V8 supercars, can you adjust the fuel maps so you can go longer in the race and use a leaner fuel mixture?
No, I don't think so. And even in those cars that you can do it, it's not as efficient as just doing it manually by lifting off and just saving that way.
Yeah, it's probably not like F1 2017 where you're able to save a lap by literally doing nothing. But yeah, Ronald Moons up to 5th place now, despite not making a pit stop. Possible problem for Dave Jansen. Yeah, Dave Jansen. Oh, another car off. It's on-off Kohler. Both off in the same corner. That is turn 1.
There's plenty of star smoke there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out what happened to Jansen actually. Looks like he's probably emerged from the pits and lit it up. Serves me right for giving him so much praise about his change of position. But yeah, an on-off Kohler just going off as well. So problems for those two. Dave Jansen did emerge from his pit stop in 14th place. 22 second stop for him. So we're just waiting on Moons and Svitzer to come in to make their second pit stop now.
Yeah, it looked like Kohler just got almost scared by Jansen there.
Yeah, I wonder if the spotter bellowed to him "car on the right" or something. It might have caught him unawares. Bill Svitzer finally comes into the pits, the man from Florida, and far away from Daytona Beach, but here he is at Motegi, and Dave Jansen in for a second visit to the pits. That might be speeding there, Sam.
No, he had an incident and went off in the S-curves.
Ah, okay. So another incident.
Yeah, he just towed back to the pits. I don't know if he was having some other issues, because he didn't at least get any damage from there.
And he's out the session as well, so that is him done for the day. He didn't actually hit anything. Yeah, he went off and exited. So I wonder what the issue was there for Dave Jansen. We'll hopefully see him at the next race meeting in a few weeks. That one will be taking place at Sonoma in California. Be a bit more closer to home for Bill Svitzer, who's in the pit lane for about a minute. A very long pit stop there for Bill Svitzer, and 34-second stop for him.
That must have been repairs. At least his car looked fairly damaged when he was running.
Well, Rafał Kucharczyk managed to make it as far up as 5th before he has to unfortunately admit defeat and come into the pits for a second time. It's a shame. He shouldn't need to take as much fuel though, get to the end. I wouldn't think so anyway. It'll be interesting to see what finishing position Kucharczyk gets. But this race meeting will definitely be a dent in his championship, and he'll be hoping that I don't commentate on any more races in this V8 Supercar Championship, because I turn up and it looks like he's going to have to relinquish the championship lead. He should emerge. He may even emerge ahead of Clyde Whiting here, and that's going to be something... No, just behind Clyde. And just behind Kohler as well. But those are 2 positions that are feasible to get by the end of the race.
Yeah, 20 minutes to go, he should be able to at least get into the top 10.
And that should be damage limitation for Rafał Kucharczyk after race 1, a bad start, and a bad start really, which ruined his race in the sprint race. And then race 2, got a good start, was in second, but then had the slightest wobble going through the long turn 7, got on the curbs, that lost the car, he hit the wall very heavily indeed, and then he had to get a new car, and unfortunately it was a time where you couldn't really fuel the car up and get to the end. Made it up as far as 5th, pitted now, and has now emerged in 12th place. As Ronald Moons finally comes into the pits, completes the round of pit stops. He was in 5th at the time. Interesting to see where he emerges. That might be a position for Rafał Kucharczyk by the time this pit stop concludes.
Yeah, I think it should be. There was not enough gap there.
Oh no, Stephen Lattimore's off, and I think he might have hit the wall. Well, he got the car repaired with the fast repair in the first pit stop, but he's just damaged that front end yet again. And if he just slid for about a few extra yards, Sam, I don't think he would have hit that tyre barrier.
I was just about to say that we had a good battle going on for the second place.
Oh yeah, right on cue. Yes, a slip up. There's a Lattimore. It was where he went off earlier. Oh, it was just on the exit. He didn't hit the grass or the curb or anything. So the car just went off. And that is a shame. Amazingly, he hasn't picked up too much damage, because it was pretty much a head-on impact. But now he's going to have to limp around with that for the rest of the race, because he has already done his fast repair, and you only get 1 in this V8 Supercar series. And so if he was to pit now, he would be sitting for quite a while to get those required repairs, or maybe even optional repairs done.
Yeah, there's no point in pitting for repairs at this point, because it could easily be something like 15 minutes worth of repairs, and there's only 17 minutes left of the race. So if you can just carry on and hold on to at least top 10, that's good enough.
Well, let's take stock then and run you through the top 10 now that the pit stops are being completed. It is a Canadian 1-2 at the moment. The national anthem is going to be played loud and free on the podium at this rate. Tony Klosterman and Chris Jackson, both teammates, leading the way at the moment. 30-second gap though between Klosterman and Jackson. Klaus Winter in 3rd, started 3rd and is at 3rd in a moment, as David Zitterbart has gone off, has spun.
That's on the main straight.
Yes, it is. Does he hit the concrete wall? Just does, yeah. Has quite a bit of damage actually to the front of that Holden. Ford, I should say.
Oh yeah, coming out of the corner and just too much power.
Well, 4th is Stephen Lattimore now. 5th is Jean-Philippe Bousselan. Somehow he always seems to be in 5th place, no matter how many cars overtake him. 6th is Daniel Tomczyk. Then 7th is Kim Holter. 8th is Peter Bingham with his teammate Clyde Whiting in 9th. And on off Kohler rounding out the top. Kucharczyk still pretty close to them, but in between him, Kucharczyk and Kohler, he's got that race leader in Tony Klosterman, who I bet you is very happy that he's putting a lap on his championship rival.
Yeah, that must feel very good, but I don't think Kucharczyk feels the same way.
No, he's not going to be very happy with that at all. He's 11th now, Kucharczyk, after getting some positions as Klosterman puts a lap on Kohler. He's now lapped everyone up to Clyde Whiting in 9th. What has been a dominant race weekend for Tony Klosterman. Championship lead will definitely be back in his favour with what will be 2 race meetings to go. 3 races, 2 around Sonoma, and then an endurance race to end the year at Road America. And the endurance races there last 2 hours. Now Sonoma, Sam, is definitely a track that we don't often see on the BSR schedule, but have seen recently in the Kia Cup, and it's good for racing in the Kias. I think these V8 Supercars, it's going to be very difficult for them to put the power down because it's a very undulating circuit. You could see a whole load of mistakes being made in that race meeting in a few weeks.
Yeah, especially the first section with the undulating corners, uphills, crests and so on. That will be very difficult, especially after the pit stops when the tires are very cold. Like we saw here, when the guys are coming out of the pits, there is just no grip at all. Even if you don't change the tires will cool down enough to make it very difficult to control the car.
Just saw Clyde Whiting's helmet again as Kola is under pressure from Kucharczyk going into the first corner. Kucharczyk running onto the rumble strips on the outside there, and last time around, what was his lap time? 1:22.2, 1:22.8 for Arnolf Kola. The writing might be on the wall for him here with the V8 European V8 Supercar Championship branding on the car. Rafał Kucharczyk driving for the GTL VRT red team, bearing down on him ever more. And this is going to be a battle. Oh, it doesn't need to worry too much. The Holden of Kola goes onto the grass on the exit of turn 6, and thank you very much, Rafał Kucharczyk is up into the top 10.
Yeah, looking ahead, there's Whiting, only 1.7 seconds ahead, so that is still close enough. 40 minutes remaining, so Kucharczyk should be able to close in and try to make a move.
We've got a battle starting to form up again between 2 drivers that we've seen quite a bit of in this feature race and in this race meeting in general. It is Daniel Tomczyk and Kim Holter. Time around, Holter did a 22.6, which was over 0.6 of a second quicker than Daniel Tomczyk, who did a 23.3. This could be a nice battle that it will be shaping up. This is a battle over 6th position, and they seem to have drifted a bit away from Jean-Philippe Boussalan, who's come on strong in this second stint of the race, and it's left these 2 to squabble over this 6th position.
Yeah, Tomczyk might have had an issue on the previous lap because it's way slower than he is normal. It is actually showing off track on my end for him.
There we go. Problem there for Tomczyk. I'll quickly see if I can rewind and see whereabouts that might have taken place, that off track on that previous lap.
I don't think it's anything major, but it's major enough for Kim to catch up.
Yeah, it was just it was a small moment at turn 6. He just put a few wheels into the grass, and that was enough to lose him about a second or 2. But now he's starting to edge away just a little bit now from Kim Holter as they come over the line. Let's see what lap times they do now. 21.9, that's back on form. So they're going to 22.1 for Kim Holter, so he might be able to stop the attack that Kim Holter was looking to do on him there. On that 35, just over 10 minutes to go in this hour-long feature race in round 15 of the PenPower European V8 Supercar Championship on Apex Racing TV.
And here we go,
Sam Kumo.
Kucharczyk going for the 9th place.
There we go, into the first corner, and he's been able to get past the PenPower car, and he's up to 9th. Where's Peter Bingham? Peter Bingham is quite a way away. The gap is 9 seconds. Might be a bit too much to ask for Rafał Kucharczyk with 10 minutes to go, but you never know. Peter Bingham might make a mistake. Might allow the championship leader going into this race meeting to close in and maybe even snatch an 8th position, which, all things said and done, after that contact I had no expectations of him getting that high up the field. Yeah, he is the highest driver to make 2 pit stops. The one after that is Robert Lundgren, who's in 15th, Anthony Woodward in 17th, and Richard Brightwell and Dave Jansen both involved in issues during the race.
Yeah, it might be too far for Kucharczyk to get the 8th place, but at this point he just needs to be happy with any kind of points he gets, and just move on, try again next week.
On to lap 36 then of the race. Of course, a timed race here, 10 minutes to go then. And it's been a pretty interesting race meeting, pretty pivotal race meeting, you could say, in terms of the championship. With Tony Kloosterman on set to take his 3rd win in a row. And make it a double here at Twin Room Motegi. It doesn't happen often here in the Supercars, as David Zitterbart might have had another moment. Indeed he has. This time it isn't the final corner, that is the exit of the S's, yeah, before the penultimate corner. Car 72, oh, he lost it on his own again, and puts another dent in that front end by clouting the inside tyre barrier.
Yeah, he started off very well. Decent job in the qualify. I believe he started, was it 10th?
Yeah, 10th. And yeah, he now in I think in about 14th place. He hasn't lost any positions actually as a result of that off. Simon Fields is coming to the pits for a 2nd time, and somehow David Zitterbart's car is still pointing in a relatively straight line.
Oh, and I think Simon Field spun it on the pits.
Oh no, what's happened here? Oh, he's lost the rear wing, hasn't he?
Yeah, just looking at him going into the pits, I'm not sure what's happening with him.
Well, I wonder if the rear wing was removed when he made a pit stop or something.
No, it was
genuinely
before
no idea.
that.
Okay. But yeah, Simon Field is Holden looking more like your everyday Ford Falcon rather than a road-going one. And yeah, he's into the pits for a 2nd time. He gets going now in 18th place. Believe it or not, that's still 2 positions higher than where he started. He didn't set a time in qualifying, and yeah, he will be hoping that he doesn't have to make any more visits to there with the fuel cell on display, and he nearly loses it again there through turn 1, and he goes off in fact.
Yeah, he might be lacking some downforce there.
Yeah.
With the trunk and the whole rear wing missing.
Yeah, the whole rear assembly is pretty much gone. That hollow section you can see, that's where the fuel tank is supposed to be in these V8 Supercars. As off goes Simon Field, there you go, or nearly does anyway. But yeah, it's not there. You can really just see the hose where the fuel goes. But yeah, Simon Field got plenty of boot space there if he needs to take anything home from this race meeting. A long ride for these guys from Motegi to Sonoma.
Yeah, unfortunately he won't be taking the any kind of trophies with him.
No,
not sure what he's gonna put in there. And it's his spins again.
Oh, just as I left him as well. Simon Field there on the exit of the penultimate corner. That does demote him a position now. He's down to 19th position. Thankfully for him, he won't be able to drop any more positions because Dave Jansen, who's the next car, is out of the race. I wonder if he'll have to make another pit stop. Car looks like it is... Whoa, that is... Yeah, he is definitely struggling for rear grip now that rear spoiler is gone. So it's going to be a miracle for him to get to the end of the race here. It's starting to look more...
And who's that?
Oh,
Latimore.
That's Latimore. That is Latimore, 4th place driver. He lost it on the exit of the final corner. He hits the inside wall. He dusts that inside wall, and does he? He hits the rear. He actually hits the rear against the wall whilst doing his energetic 360 to get the car going again. So that is front and rear damage, but only subtle rear damage to the rear end of that Holden. And he should stay in 4th position. He still has a healthy advantage over Jean-Philippe Pousselin as Simon Field again lights it up on the exit of turn 5.
Yeah, I think the most entertainment for these past 7 minutes will be watching these 2 guys if they can make it back home.
There is, it's pretty close still between Tomczyk and Holter. However, I think Tomczyk still has it all in check. He is in 6th position at the moment, Kim Holter in 7th. Last time around, Holter was quicker by half a second. We'll see if that gap gets any closer as the race concludes. It's 8/10 of a second at the moment between Tomczyk, who drives for Sassing Motorsport, and Holter, who drives for, as he scrolls through the title screen, the SDC Motorsport team.
Yeah, they've been around this little bit under a second for a while now.
I think. Oh no, is this a part spun? Oh, it's spun again, and it's in his favourite spot. It's the final corner. In fact, he hasn't spun. In fact, he went off before the spin. He went off into the final corner. Not surprised that the front tyres were saying no to that. And then gets back on and spins the car. And I think he's going to have to find a reverse gear there, I think. No, he's going to go for... he's going to do the round of the... Oh, and he nearly collects car 50.
Yeah, we just saw it.
Oh, that's Kaczarzik. Yeah, he just had to avoid him there, the championship leader.
Well, he did
hit
actually. Was it the Bingham?
Ah, Peter Bingham.
Yeah, he might have hit him.
Oh, and Simon Field's off again, by the way. Nothing new there, but Peter Bingham, yeah, might have picked up a bit of possible damage from that. I'll have to look back and see how much he might have caught there of him. Whoa, that was very close. Yeah, just saw it on the replay. And Peter Bingham very lucky to get away with that. He's in 8th position still. Peter Bingham, he is the first car 1 lap down. Not that really matters in this V8 Supercar Championship. It isn't like NASCAR where we got a safety car. He would be able to get back on the lead lap. Yeah, a top 10 result for the PenPower driver up for grabs. And I think if we had to pick a driver of the day, Sam, right now, I think it would be a pretty easy guess who'd be getting it.
Yeah, it might be some driver who has been just dominating these sport races. I don't know who you might be thinking of. Maybe some Canadian.
Yeah, I think even the viewers might be able to guess. Yeah, Tony Kloosterman leading the way. Fantastic job, 32-second lead, and he's got 4 minutes to go. Yeah, he's just got to lap the traffic. I think he's about to get to Kim Poulter, and that would be 6 cars that are left on the lead lap. Not too many battles going on at the moment. The race just winding down to its conclusion. So the field really starting to spread out now that the pit stops have been completed. So just scrolling through the timing screen. Let's have a look at some of the biggest movers in the field. Daniel Tomczyk in 6th position, gained 6 positions, started in 12th. There was nearly a bit of contact there between Chris Jackson and Ronald Moons as he gets the lap put on him. Daniel Tomczyk, 20.9 in practice, and a 21.3 in qualifying meant he lost 6 positions off his time. And he's been able to get from 12 to 6. So that's a good race there from Tomczyk. Was in 5th as well at one point, but a poor section before the pit stops meant that Jean-Philippe Bousselin was able to get back past him.
Yeah, Tomczyk there putting a lap down on, I believe that was Woodward.
Yes, it was, yeah. Woodward in 16th position.
And we have Simon Field spinning out again.
Well, it's credit to him for trying. Simon Field, did he hit the wall this time? I think he does. Yeah, he hits the front again against the wall. Do you really want to go, Simon? Because the pit lane is there. I don't think he can point the car in a straight line anymore. Is he going to come into the pits? No, he's going to go at it again. He's going to start his 40th lap here at Twin Ring Motegi. Don't worry, Simon, just hang in there. You've got 2 more minutes. And I know you can get a finish, but I don't think it's going to be on the lead lap, and it's going to be pretty much the last car running as he comes over the line now to start lap 40.
Yes, at this point he could just pit in because there's no one behind him.
Well, somehow I was able to make it through the first corner, hanging on for dear life pretty much in that. In what remains of, I think it was a Holden at one point. Oh no, it was a Ford, yes, so there you go. Biggest losers through the race. I don't think we really need to introduce Rafał Kaczarczyk's issues. Was in second, hit the Onco barrier whilst in second, had to pit for a new car, and it's a pretty good effort from him to get to 9th. He's not too far off Bingham actually, so with just under 90 seconds to go, might just fancy a chance of taking that 8th position as Tony Kloosterman is on his penultimate lap of the race now. So I think Kucharczyk might just have a bit of time here to get this position. So
Yeah, looking
You
at
think it's
Bingham's last lap, and it was not very fast. It was 23.2, which is slower than you would expect. So maybe he had some issues, or maybe just struggling with the tires. But here comes Kucharczyk.
when he gets to the line, he'll have one more lap to do so, because Tony Kluseman isn't too far in front of those guys. And into the S's section, the gap coming down visibly here, as Kucharczyk is desperate to get that 7th position. You never know, that might be crucial in terms of the championship. You may have to admit defeat that he will have lost the championship lead here today, but I'm sure he's going to be wanting to get as many positions as he can inside the closing stages here, so that for Sonoma and at Road America, as many points. Out of the final corner then, onto the final lap goes Tony Kluseman, just crossed the line before the clock ticked over to 0. Now in the slipstream is Rafał Kucharczyk. No chance of getting it done up the inside into the first corner. Turn 6 might be his first real opportunity to get the move done, as they're now bearing down on Anthony Woodward, which might have an impact on this battle here. They go through turns 3, 4 and 5 for the final time.
Yeah, I wonder if Klusterman had a spotter for this race, because what I would have done there is just slow down on the final lap to avoid this situation where now Kucharczyk is able to make the pass and get more points.
So Woodward goes off. Yeah, that is now 7th position, 8th position I should say, for Rafał Kucharczyk. Meanwhile, Tony Kluseman got a bit of lap traffic here. Does he want to force Kim Holter to do one more lap? Or does he want to lap him and he won't have to do another one. Kim Holter trying to get past Bill Svitzer as well. But I think Kluseman just wants to make sure that he gets to the line and doesn't want to get involved in any contacts. Here he comes then, into the final corner. It's been a dominant race meeting. It's pretty much led every single lap but about 1 or 2. And that's when the pit stops were going on. Through the final corner, checker flag at the ready. And race 2 of the day here at Twin Rim Motegi in the PenPower European Beer Supercar Championship does go to Tony Kluseman. He takes the win. Kim Holter is going to have to go around and do another lap. Second for Chris Jackson. He's on his way through to the penultimate corner now. It's going to be a 1-2 for the Canadians and 1-2 for the Never Quit Racing team. And Klaus Winter should come round to complete the podium. Over the line goes Chris Jackson, second place, 29 seconds behind in the end. Klaus Winter should come through and take third. Stephen Lattimore, he hasn't had the quietest race, as you can tell by the state of that car. That V8 engine on full display for us all to see. And he's going to come through the final corner now and take best of the rest in 4th. There you go. And the all-black Holden comes across the line and takes 4th place there. Jean-Philippe Bousselin should be next. And Daniel Tomczyk is going to be all on his own because, well, not all on his own. Kim Holter had to do another lap, didn't he? Yeah. But he shouldn't have to worry about Kim Holter for too much longer. Through the final corner he goes, and that should be 6th place. And the penultimate car on the lead lap, Kim Holter will come across the line and take 7th place as well. And Summerfield didn't actually finish the race. He was trying, wasn't he? But in the end, it didn't go at all to plan. Well, let's run you through the finishing order then from the second race of the day, the feature race here. Round 15 of the PenPower European V8 Supercar Championship. Race victory, double race victory, 3 wins in a row for Tony Kluseman. Lights to flag once again for him. Chris Jackson second, 3rd Klaus Winter, 4th Stephen Lattimore, 5th for Jean-Philippe Bousselin, Daniel Tomczyk in 6th, 7th for Kim Holter, the last car on the lead lap. The car's 1 lap down or more. Rafał Kucharczyk, second on the grid, crashed and managed to get the fast repair, managed to get back as far as 8th. That's still a very good drive from him. 9th, 1 lap down, Peter Bingham. Clyde Whiting also a lap down along with Arnolf Kohler in 11th. 12th, Jose Borges. 13th for Ronald Moons. Robert Lundgren, the last car, 1 lap down in 14th. Bill Svitzer, 2 laps down. Anthony Woodward as well. David Zittebart been around quite a bit today in race 2. He was also 2 laps down along with Richard Brightwell. Simon Field, dear me, too many parts left of that Ford Falcon by the end of the race. Dave Janssen in 20th, 19 laps down. It was a bit of an odd one for him. He just decided to stop out on track after the opening round of pit stops. And yeah, he was the last car in this 20-car field.
Yeah, good race, and also good to see that we only had one retirement, which was Davy Janssen. I mean, Simon Field did not complete the final lap, but he just stuck with it, even with the damaged car.
Right then, we do have 2 drivers waiting to talk to us, so make that 3 drivers. So we'll quickly head down to the interview room. And we have them all ready to talk to us now. Let's start off with our race 1 and race 2 winner, and it's 3 wins in a row. Tony Kloosterman, you must be very happy with that.
Yeah, very happy. It was a great day. No mistakes. Well, one little one, I think, but yeah, very happy.
And with Chris Jackson making it a 1-2 for the team, it's a great day for Canada.
It certainly is, and a great drive by Chris. He worked hard all week, and we knew he had pace, and little incident in the first race, but good solid second race.
With the conditions as they were today, the night racing and the low track temperatures, when you emerged from the pits, it looked pretty hard out there to keep the car under control at some point.
Yeah, very sketchy, especially at the start of the race. That first lap was very, very difficult, very low tire pressures, and took a while for them to get up to temp.
Well, next week then, Sonoma in California, very undulating circuit. It's going to be pretty tough to get these V8 supercars around there.
Yeah, that's a difficult circuit, especially the first couple of corners going uphill and over the berm. Very tricky, but it's a fun track, and quick laps there. I think we're in the 110s or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Let's bring in your teammate Chris Jackson, who started 4th, but you were able to get a 2nd position and join your teammate on the podium.
Yeah, it was my first podium in the series, so I was happy about that. As Tony said, put in a lot of practice and we worked on our setup, so big thanks to the team.
Well, it looked like a podium could have been in cut up for grabs in the opening race, but what happened? Was it a mistake in the first corner that put you down the order a little bit?
Yeah, Raffle was coming on pretty strong, and I went offline, braked a touch late, and spun. I think he went wide too, so it was good hard racing, but it was a mistake, and it took a bit to get back into it.
And we were just talking to your teammate Tony about Sonoma next week. What do you think is probably going to be the hardest part of getting the car set up around that circuit?
Sonoma I'm relatively new at, so I'm going to trust my team in terms of the setup, put in practice and laps, and hopefully get another good result.
Okay, before we let you two guys go, Tony, have you got any messages you want to send a shout out to for the team?
Just our regular sponsors, Simability and the Button Box Shop, and thanks to Clyde and everybody in the administration team for putting things on.
Well done on the 1-2 for the team, and well done on taking 3 wins in a row, Tony. We'll see you next week at Sonoma.
Thank you.
I'll see you as well, Chris.
Cheers, thank you.
Let's move on to Jean-Philippe Bousselin, who finished in 5th place in race 2, and Jean-Philippe, it looked like you were having to fend off attacks from pretty much everyone in both races today.
Hello, mate. Yeah, it was pretty difficult to keep up with those guys, you know. Well, I guess I felt a bit like a midget in a basketball team, you know. It was pretty hard.
Yeah, it looked like you were looking out the mirrors quite a bit in that second race. You're having to fend off some different drivers.
Yeah, well, I got passed by Klaus pretty quickly, I think. Brilliant move, by the way, mate. That was pretty good. And yeah, I had an excellent race with Daniel. That was really cool.
I think you were able to calm down a little bit after the pit stops. Things seemed to settle down after that.
Yeah, I think he was pushing a bit too hard. I don't know. He might have made a few mistakes, but I don't know. I was thinking, you know, okay, you're ahead now. Just keep your head straight and don't make any mistakes, and that's what I did. And it worked out, so I'm pretty happy with 5th place.
Well, Bathurst last time out, Motegi today in the night condition. What would you say was probably harder, this or Bathurst a few weeks ago?
Well, tough one to answer to. I don't know, mate. I mean, the conditions here are really hard. You know, the car is, well, it's pretty much very hard to drive as it is, and on those conditions, it's even harder. But I would say it's about the same. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, Bathurst is also a very, very hard track. Also not forgiving at all. At Motegi, at least you can make a mistake and clip the grass a little bit, and you won't necessarily hit the wall. But yeah, it's different, but it's very hard. Both of them are very hard. Yeah.
With just 3 races to go now in the championship, 2 at Sonoma next time out, and the endurance race at Road America. Have you got set a target for the end of the season?
Yeah, finishing the season. No target at all. I've missed quite a few races, so already early on, so it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just here to have good fun. So it doesn't matter, but I wish good luck to everyone who's actually running who actually has a target.
Well, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
Yeah, obviously to everyone in the league, to you guys for the broadcasts. It's pretty cool, everyone. We had good fun watching it afterwards. And I just want to say a really quick something. We, in the league, we have this new thing we came up with. And it's basically what we call an academy sessions. And I want to invite everyone in the league who's watching this to take part of it if they want or they can, whether they're fast or not. So the idea is to just go on track and address problems that people might have. The underlying idea is to make everyone go faster and be more confident with the car. So guys, if you're up for it, definitely join us. We'll try to do it more often. We did it a couple of times already, and I had a few good feedback. So that's it.
Well done on the top 5, and yeah, we'll see you at Sonoma next week.
Cheers.
Next time. Move on to Klaus Winter, who finished in 3rd place today, and tell us about your race.
Well, that was pretty amazing, actually. Good sport by the rest of the people. Kind of surprised that I got 2 top 3 this time.
Yeah, it looked like you were having a close battle with Jean-Philippe at one point, and tell us about that battle.
Yeah, that was one hell of a battle. Pretty awesome. I like it.
Do you have to approach the sprint races a bit differently to the feature races, or is it just a longer race with a pit stop?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually have no idea.
I've been speaking to the other drivers about Sonoma next week. Is that a track that you probably prefer to here at Motegi, or you're approaching that with a bit more apprehension than this one?
Sonoma's fun. I used to do the Gen 6 there, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
Before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
Oh yeah, to everybody in this league, you guys, my teammate in the SDC Motorsport.
Well done on the podium. Yeah, finished in the top 3. Yeah, and we'll hopefully speak to you next time out at Sonoma.
Hopefully.
Yeah, thanks. Next, we have got the 2 PenPower teammates here to talk to us, Clyde Whiting and Pete Bingham, and you 2 seemed inseparable in that second race, finishing 9th and 10th.
Yeah, I just love Pete. I can't help it.
Feelings mutual, I'm sure.
I think Pete had a bit of a bad race one with his false start. So yeah, he's been quicker than me in practice, so I'll let him off for the second race.
Yeah, Clyde, night racing, and the low temperatures definitely meant that the V8 Supercars were they were already hard to handle. They were very hard to handle today.
Yeah, race 1 was really boring for me. The front 9 gapped me, and I gapped everybody behind me. So I just sort of run round on my own. But the second race was a lot more interesting. There was a big gaggle of us at the start with the cars, with the tyres not up to temperature and the cold track, and we were slipping and sliding all over the place. I think at one point I had Dave Janssen and Hihor Borges behind me. I think Dave Jansen missed his braking point, and he come through the pair of us like a midget fired out of a cannon. So I think we both had to take avoiding action there. But no, there was some real good racing in that second race. Arnulf, who's not in here for an interview, I had a fantastic battle with him all the way through. He kept catching me, and then I'd gap him, and he'd catch me and gap him. And yeah, it was really good. First ever night race that we've done in the series, and I think it worked really well.
Pete, you had a very good start. You started 11th, we're up to 6th, I think, at one point, and you had the likes of Stephen Lattimore and Jean-Philippe bearing down on you. Tell us about that first few laps of the race.
Well, race 1 was a complete disaster. Race 2 was very interesting at the beginning. So everybody decided they wanted to dive off the track in front of me, which is quite good. And then I just had to squeeze through the gaps. And I came to the tight right-hander, glued to JP's rear bumper, and got spun by a shadow. And when I eventually came around, it was a car that was all in black. So I joined a bit further down after that. I kept pace with everybody, which was good, and I pitted as early as I could to repair the damage without having to pit twice. So there was no stopping Rafa on that last lap. He was like a cannon.
Saw many drivers losing it in the same spot. That first corner, the last corner, as well as the first corner, they seem to be pretty treacherous spots of the circuit.
The first and last corners didn't bother me so much. It was all of the other ones. So I just had to avoid all the corners. Have a straight track next time, please.
Well, Clyde, as an admin of the series, we're going to Sonoma next week. Your particular thoughts on that one?
To be honest, I can't remember ever racing there before, so I'm not really qualified to answer that one. I'm just going to try and get loads of practice in next week and learn the track.
Pete, raced around Sonoma at all?
I have, but I don't remember it. I remember watching it on NASCAR as well, but I still don't remember it. I know it's got some hills.
Oh yeah. Which configuration are we on? Are we on the Cup for that one? Or
Cup one, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that should be interesting. Well, at least you don't have that carousel section in the middle. But we'll see what happens there. Well, Clyde we'll let you do the shout out messages, I think.
Obviously, as usual, to you guys for what you do with the broadcast. The admin team that's behind me that sorts everything out in the background, and everybody that turns up for the series. And my sponsor for tonight, Thatcher's Gold.
Go have one. Go have one to celebrate what's probably been an all right result. 2 cars inside the top 10. So thanks for talking to us.
I haven't got any left.
Oh no. Is it not like me where I get drunk during the race? But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even going to answer that question.
See you in a few weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Well, to round everything off, we will speak to we'll speak to Jose Borges, who didn't have the best of second races. Started 6th, finished 12th, 1 lap down, and tell us about what unfolded during that one.
Yeah, Dave was a bit under stress, and he locked up on the first corner. Then we had a good run, me and Clyde. I overtook him, and I finished doing a fool of myself. Then I made 2 big mistakes. That one, and later on the race I was alone after passing Clyde. I spun up, and then I didn't have the pace to catch up with guys.
7th in the championship going into this race meeting. Have you got any targets for yourself before the end of the season? Maybe a top 5 in the points?
Yeah, that would be great, but it's the first season. I don't really know the car. I don't really know the tracks. I'm just having a great fun learning the car and having fun with the guys.
Is there anything on iRacing like the V8 Supercar? Or is it really unique?
Yeah, they're extremely unique. I think there's nothing like that.
And Sonoma. Well, it looks like the PenPower team have got some practicing to do. What about yourself? Have you had much experience of that track?
No, not at all. I don't really know the track. I know there are, as Pete said, there are some hills, but I have no idea where to go. They
Oh,
say
that's-
it's a cup. It's the cup version. I don't know what's that.
Well, I think a few of the drivers in this challenge are going to be doing some homework over the next week. But
Yeah.
what's out to anybody?
Well, thanks to the admins to bringing all this up together. It's great fun. I'm having fun, and that's it.
There we go. Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time out to speak to us, and we'll hopefully see you at Sonoma in a few weeks' time.
Yeah. Bye.
Oh then, Sam. Sonoma next week. In a few weeks' time, I should say. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting, especially with that first section. I'm expecting there will be some slippery moments out of the pits, especially in the feature race after the pit stops.
I'm just interested to see 20 plus V8 Supercars going into that first corner. But that pretty much wraps everything up here today in the PenPower V8 Supercars here at Twin Rim Motegi. My thanks to Sam for being on the cameras, and thank you for watching as well. And the next race meeting at Sonoma Raceway in a few weeks' time. Make sure you can join us for it at about just after 7 o'clock British Summer Time, 8 p.m. Central European Time. So from all of us here at Apex Racing TV and at Twin Rim Motegi, it's a good night to you all.